Welcome back to Métropole Grid. My name is Andre. How's it going? It's December 8th. It's the day before Parhelion drops. It's pretty exciting. Hopefully y'all are doing well. I know I'm doing great. Thursday could not come soon enough. A lot of stuff to talk about. I've been living vicariously watching them streams, the daily cast streams. So maybe tomorrow, who knows? On that note, real quick off the top, I'm looking to stream tomorrow. It's all dependent on when and if Parhelion hits the JNet lobbies. If it hits JNet lobbies at like 10 in the morning, I'm going to be streaming for like 8 hours tomorrow. I have the whole day off. So if you're not subscribed or followed this channel or you hit the notification button, I can't tell you when I'm going to start to stream. Maybe it'll be late. Maybe it'll be in the morning. But if you hit that button, you'll know. On that note, hopefully everyone's doing well. How's everyone doing? How's everyone's second week of spoiler season? Again, the thing drops tomorrow, and then cards, like purchasable cards, which we'll talk about that because that's actually a bit different now, comes out on Monday. Yo, Jenny, good morning. How's your summer doing? Leo Major, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. How is André's French? Je peux parler seulement un peu, mais c'est pas parfait. Il y a beaucoup de mots que je ne connais pas, mais c'est correct, c'est d'accord. It's okay. It's not very good, but I can get by. Hype. Hey, Cole, let's go, Andre. Let's go. Clap. Yo, I was waiting for this. David says, I've had a terrible cold and cough, and it's my reward for surviving. Hopefully you're doing well. Yeah, I hope you're feeling better. Last Thursday, Pat was here. He actually did quite a funny thing on stream. And I probably should have mentioned it or did something yesterday. Maybe make the next day, make a YouTube short or something about it. But I had like a COVID booster because, you know, I'm going to see a bunch of family coming up, and I was just totally out on Friday. I was feeling pretty poorly, but I'm totally fine now. Hey, Izzy. Hey, it was real good. It's almost Parhelion. It was great to hear you today on Daily Cast. No time for introduction. Give us the neutral runner scoop. We've seen like most of it, right? I'm pretty sure we could probably guess what it says. I imagine there's going to be some symmetry. Hey, Jeff, how's it going? Hello, folks. Hey, sweet relief from the cringe fest that is the Game Awards stream. Oh, it's going on right now, the Game Awards. Oh, man, are you all thinking Sonic is the best game of the year? Because apparently Sonic is the best game of the year. 2022, what a year. On that note, too, this reminds me, classically, there's been issues on Twitch with the stream stuttering. Let me know if that's still the case. I've rerouted where I stream through, and now I'm streaming to a server that's in Quebec, Quebec City, which is much closer. So we'll see if it's better. C'est très bien. Oh, merci. Oh, merci. First time on stream, new to Nice. Yeah, Leo, Null Signal is now the name they go by. But if you say Nice, people will still know what you're talking about. Are you excited for the Az support? Definitely. It's a shame that Az is rotating from startup, that's for sure. You have to be a bit more specific about what the Az support is, because I think there's a lot of Az support. Just about any card can be Az support. I don't know if I said, hey, Jeremy, hey, Schmendrix, Nato, Parhelion tomorrow. How's everyone doing? I'm doing well. Izzy, great job today. Yeah, that was really good. Yo, Yusengren, a huge thing, like Daily Cast has been, if you don't know, so Yusengren's been streaming and they've been going back up on his YouTube channel. So, and I think there's one more tomorrow. But Yusengren's been doing daily casts, which are just like recaps of what's been spoiled that day. And some days it's like 2 cards. Some days it's a lot of cards. Me and Pat were on this a week ago, but that's not why we bring this up. It's really cool because while you hear voices from people you know, including maybe this voice, you also hear a lot of voices from people from the community, people who don't have massive platforms, people who don't aren't part of Null Signal. And I think that's super cool. Just as like a way for everyone to come together and like share their ideas. The chat's also embedded, so you see like my kind of I'm in the chat, let's just say that. But yeah, it's really cool to see everyone drop in as like a touch point. But it's really nice that people are like volunteering, I guess, if that's what it is, to talk to people publicly about cards and be excited. It's really, really cool. Thank you for being in the symmetry camp. Lots of folks in the asymmetry camp on the neutral ID. It came up today, right? Like, so the neutral ID, Ampere, we're going to talk about that obviously tonight. And I think that's really, really exciting. I'm super stoked for Ampere. But it's strange. If it does have the text that's like equivalent to Ampere, it's very funny that Matryoshka, the nesting dolls, came out right after it in card number. I know Jeff made some sort of joke about it. Shout out from Quebec. Tell me if your server bugs. I'll go give it a gentle tap. Merci. Yeah, I think it's running better. Thanks again, Jeff, for having me on and Monton. It was super fun. Poison Violent Awakening Plan are the cards I'm thinking is best fitting in as. Okay, so if I've done it correctly, and apologies for this, because we're going to obviously talk about the cards today. Or at least, okay, no, that was not right. Oh, you can still hear me. Yeah, okay, that's not the button I want to hit. Sorry, you're going to have to see that logo more than once. So we can show these, right? So these are pulled from, what's it called? From Netrunner DB. So the quality is like a bit middling. Apologies for that. You do not have to adjust your monitor. It is actually that blurry. You cannot fix it. But yeah, Awaken Plant. It was weird when the criminal cards were spoiled, and these were all spoiled from the ShadowNet. I was not really excited about them because they all kind of do something that already exists in the game. Like this is another card that exists. There's cards that have done this, but they do it slightly different. I think maybe a worse example of that is this one, which I do not know the name off of hand. All these numbers and letters are confusing me, but Zenith Chip shows up in the narrative. Yeah, like this is an effect that we've seen before. Like this is nothing new. And I think despite that, once I got over that, obviously these cards are very powerful. This is really strong. I think Waken Plants is very, very, very good. But yeah, it was weird because the criminal cards came out. I'm like, well, there's literally nothing new here, nothing really flashy. But I think despite that, they're like just very strong fundamental cards. Like DreamNet for one. Yeah, it turns out that's actually quite good. So we'll take it. Poison Vial, yeah, we have Poison Vial here too. And Poison Vial is very cool because it's E3 feedback implants, and that's a lot of people's favorite card that doesn't exist anymore. And on its own, like, supports entire archetypes. Is this one exactly it? It's a bit different. It's technically cheaper, but it doesn't last forever. It trashes itself when it's empty, which is a bit of a bummer. We'll get to that today. But yeah, it's kind of neat. It's weird too, because it's just more boat support. And I wonder if we want to get away from that. But yeah, it's quite nice. Daily Cast has been good fun. It really has been. Got to get on a mic in front of the community more. It's really good fun. I hope you had a good time, Izzy. Do we already know what the neutral ID power is? Blink 2 times? No, I don't think we do. I think we've seen it's a minimum deck size of 40. I think that's all we know. And I think we know it might have infinite influence. I forget what we've seen. Or you have to listen to Slumscast, which is really, really great. I was listening to Slumscast yesterday. I haven't totally finished it. I got the internet interview with, I believe his name was Conrad from the art team. Conrad is really well spoken. That was a very easy interview to listen to. Really good. That guy is great on the microphone. And then Morgan, I was listening to Morgan's interview. I know there's 2 more, but I haven't finished the whole episode yet, but it was quite good. Multi-axis and faction, cheaper DreamNet. I don't want to take meat though. Yeah, you know, it's hard. It's definitely hard. Like it's the same thing with what's it called? The HQ one that nobody plays, that you lose a credit. Whatever that cybernetic is called. I don't really remember right now. But taking a meat damage is difficult. It's just like inherently kind of difficult. The cool thing though, specifically with the Zenith chip, is that like you draw back up really quickly, so it's not that hard. Like it's inherently you're gonna draw the card you trash this turn. From what we've seen, Panweave, thank you. From what we've seen, also, maybe criminals have to run a bit more redundancy in their breaker suite because there's a lot of like free program destruction from Jinteki also now and Wayland. So there's a chance that redundancy is going to be a bigger thing in criminal lists where like if you're holding your one of Begulter, you can't just lose the game. So we'll see if that actually matters. But yeah, who knows? Yo, Jankivis, I know we got new Netrunner to talk about. I'll keep this short. Min rocks. That is all. Oh man, there's so much new Netrunner content. Firstly, Min does rock. Min is really, really fun. But I started Scarlet Keys and I have opinions and I want to talk about them because they're very nuanced, and I don't think that's going to be what we can do today. But I started Scarlet Keys with Maddie. Whoa, it's going terribly. It's going so bad. And I think we should talk about it because it's hard to discuss about Scarlet Keys. By the way, the new Arkham thing, it's like a choose your own adventure, path yourself through the world. So people don't have the same narrative. So it's not like Arkham back in the day where every month you'd have one pack and everyone would talk about them. It's like television, right? Back in the day, it'd be like, oh, how did your thing go? And everyone had the same thing. So like people just can't talk about it until you've done everything, which is a lot. But yeah. Poison Quetzal. Yeah, I think Poison Quetzal is doable. I don't know if it's the best use of this thing. It's probably not bad. E3 was huge for Quetzal. So yeah, okay, boat, poison, Quetzal. That's kind of a thing, right? Conrad's great. He's in my meta. Yeah, he was really good. He was really easy to listen to. It made me very excited. Metropole Horror, new channel. Let's go. My new Arkham channel is going to be called Velma's Diner. The acronym is VD, which is like kind of probably not the best, but I got to make that one before someone else takes the name. Please don't take the name. I shouldn't have said it out loud. I found it funny how precious crims are about their cards. Yo, there's not anarchs. We can't just throw everything out. We got to play all our criminal cards. They're all like bravado. You want to throw out a bravado? Come on. Metropole Dread? Well, that's not bad. So we still haven't seen the complete set yet. No, we haven't. So are we expecting a neutral runner ID? It's basically confirmed. Well, we've seen parts of it. Like we know it. Not only do we know it exists, we've seen parts of the card. I think more and more of it got revealed today. I've only seen like the tail end of it, literally the tail end of it. So I don't know. But in terms of the tracker, Chaos of 99s, Reddit trackers here, it's good. In terms of cards we don't know, I think this is updated pretty quickly. There's 2 Anarch programs, 1 criminal resource, which, oh yeah, we saw info bounty today. I don't know what that is. We have 1 neutral identity, and that's like almost it. There's an NBN operation. It's like 3 or 4 cards we don't know, whatever that added up to. So that's going to be tomorrow when the set drops. I'm assuming Null Signal Games is going to be dropping the same thing that they did last time, where it's like, here's all the cards in like a gallery. And then maybe they have a pronunciation guide. That'd be sick, but sometimes it takes a bit longer. Where's the link to spoiler tracker? That's a really good question. It's in your chat. Wayland Ice. Wait, are we missing a Wayland Ice? Oh, we're missing a Wayland Ice. That's super exciting. So far the ice in this set has been, I think, the weakest point all over. I don't think we've seen ice that's been like really, really good. But Wayland Ice is always very interesting, and that's just because anything can be playable in op. If it just has the right res cost on it, you're kind of good to go. So I think we're a bit more forgiving there. But yeah, ice in this has been like, I feel like half the ice has been, I don't know about it, but everything else has been really strong. Hey, Brennan, must be Thursday, another fabulous stream. Welcome, how you doing? VD, yeah, I know, it's not a good thing. I just like Velma's Diner. It's just a nice name, it's warm. Still in the middle of another campaign, haven't started TSK. I got 3 campaigns going on. We have a chaos campaign, which before every scenario, we randomly draw a scenario that's of that time. So we play like a scenario 1, a scenario 2. So we've been like jumping through everything, and it's been a lot of fun. However, we're immensely overexperienced because of the dream cycle. Whoops. And then we're doing Edge of the Earth with my brother-in-law, and then Maddie and I just started Scarlet Keys. And yeah, I have opinions. I don't think it's the time for that. Remind me maybe next week or something. Jinteki's border control isn't super good. Laurie, how's it going? I don't think so. I'm not a big fan of it. It seems, hold on, I have this button. It seems like really situational and non-taxing and not real. So this is it. It's called Half Run. It's really cool. I think that's meant to be one of the oldest species. It's meant to be an old clam or something like that. I haven't fully done my research, but it says it's code gate and barrier. So it has 2 subtypes. That's kind of rare. That has happened before, but hasn't not happened. And it says when you res this ice during a run, you may trash 1 card from HQ, so the exact same and very expensive clause attached to Anemone, and then you can choose an installed runner card. That card, for the remainder of the run, can't break subroutines. So the idea with this card is that if they have a barrier breaker and a decoder, they can still get through it, but you can also call like a sentry breaker and assume that there's something behind it that they either know or don't know they'll jack out, or you can pull boomerang or boat and stuff like that. And like, that's true. But there's the window of this is only good on the turn it's rezzed. After that, the res to break cost is like not terrible. If you're playing 3 to break this with Black Orchestra or 2 with Paperclip, and that's the problem. They usually break it with whatever is the cheapest for them. I honestly don't know. Jinteki Ice is actually quite bad. It's like really, really quite bad right now. So I'm not 100% sure because the window on this is like kind of difficult. At that point in the time, if they have 1 breaker and a boat, like you can choose one of them. I don't know. This is one that I'm definitely kind of up to see whether it actually works. Steal 2 credits and cards seems good. What in terms of which one? Vamprenassa seems good. Seabass, that's the Jinteki one, right? That's the 4 subroutine one. I think that one was one of the good ones. Slumscast, oh, they're all drills, so we're not actually gonna know. Didn't they said they would update these in 24 hours? But this one, I forget what it says on it. I do think this one was meant to be pretty good, but I don't remember. When can we get a video ranking the tiers of the Amazing Runner Corp cards? That was an amazing video for the last release. Dave, how's it going? Glad you liked it. Me and Jeff have plans to record it as soon as Sunday. As soon as Sunday, we'll record at least one side of it. I don't know how soon it'll take us to record both sides. On that note, there is going to be a big gap in the channel, unfortunately. Next week, there will be a stream. Hopefully I'm streaming tomorrow if the set is on JNet at a time that makes sense. But next week there will be a stream on Thursday. And then the week after that is Christmas. It's the Christmas holidays. So there will just be no Metropole Grid until the week after. And the week after, actually, does it fall on like New Year's or something awkward? I don't actually know. Let me check. Why does it? So then then we'll do it'll be the 29th. Yeah, I'll be back for that. So there'll be another stream on the 29th before New Year's. I'm hoping next week, and there's a lot of stuff going on next week before the holidays, is that I'll pre-record a lot of videos. So there'll be video content that'll just queue up of like new decks and stuff. It'll be mostly Ampere content, let's be honest. But yeah, there's gonna be no stream for a week, not next week, but the week after, which, you know, new set, and then we take a break out of the channel. Good stuff, Andre. Really done. Also, Vamp in front of Anoetic seems obnoxious. I don't know the text for the Vamprenassa is. I have to open the Reddit thread where somebody translated it or, you know, wrote it down. There's a town in Colorado that shortens his name to BV, and that's not great. I don't know what BV is. Harmonic seems interesting, and Vamprenassa and Unsmiling Serena seem solid mid-range. Unsmiling Serena is the 3 subroutine face check sentry in NBN. That one does seem good. I do think Bloop is good. I think the other one that they printed, the 3-1, the other harmonic, we'll open it up. We have it here. That one's like okay. I think harmonics are probably playable. I think they're actually probably playable. I just don't understand how you afford any of them, because at least some of them are expensive if you have to re-res them. How are you feeling about Hakarl now with Parhelion? James, how's it going? Firstly, I now know that I'm saying the name Hakarl very incorrectly. I've heard people say it properly and it's not Hakarl, so we got to figure that one out. How do I think about it? Still bad. I don't think it's very good. I still don't think Hakarl is good. I think there are probably better ways to do core damage. Core damage is obviously going to be very important for a certain archetype, but I don't think paying 5 credits for this. And that's the thing, is like Thule, I am, again, pardon for the pronunciation, is probably going to have a credit issue. They have a lot of very expensive cards. Like their grid is 4 credits. They still have to score out agendas. They might be running a lot of small agendas and they don't have that sports metal sort of ability. So paying 5 credits to maybe sometimes do a core damage sometimes, yeah, kind of is difficult. It also doesn't work entirely well, right? Like people are going to be running. So if you runner cannot use paid abilities on Biodice for remainder of the turn. Okay, so they'll be running early, so they can't click through this, but yeah, I don't know. No, probably not. Probably still not the best thing you can run. Everyone seems really down on half run, but I really like it. I think it's going to be quite good for mid-range and Jinteki. It's like maybe good for rush, like really, really strong rush, which Iswak could do, but that's a very expensive cost, right? Like throwing a card from hand and having something that can be attacked by 2 ways. It's kind of the like exact problem that you get from it also doesn't end for the turn. Like it just uses the ability for the run. So if you're really rush and someone just does like Botulus or Boomerang run, you can be like end the run, you lose a click, and then you have to run back. And it's totally true that there are some instances where like running back for a click is too expensive, but like the window for this to actually matter is very narrow. The click back has to matter. So ideally this is behind ice that, you know, you've already broken through. They have to not be able to break it with 2 different attacks. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Never thought about this as pseudo border control. That's the idea. It could be pseudo border control, but the idea is that border control is not only like a relevant end the run with technically a face check, but it's relevant on every board state largely, and it can interact with so many things. This is so far different from that. While it can do that, and in some ways also the new HB, one of the new HB harmonics can do that. It's going to be very difficult to get that to line up. Like border control is so easy. It's just border control. Like Zato Grid, everything's border control. About as far away from border control as traffic accidents from Boom. Okay, kind of, yeah, kind of. I guess so. It's a new link from Slubs to Non-Drills. Izzy, I think your link probably got eaten. Let me check. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, wow, it actually blocked a robot. But I think your link might have got stuffed. Vampire also steals 2 credits and 2 cards from the runner. Pants Bud. Yo, Orb, how's it going? I've listened to most of the episodes so far. It's quite good. Put up the real ones. I don't have a link. Slums did do an image link. Okay. Do we have it? I don't know if someone can post it. I'm pretty sure that you're not able to post it. Careless Whisper Underwater.mp3. Toronto loses 2 credits, gain 2 credits, deal 2 net, drop to 2 cards. On a code gate too, right? You pronounce it Harkarl, I pronounce it Harkarl. We are not the same. Hankel 1.0. Isn't Thule like Thule? Like the cargo container company? I don't know. I've never heard of it actually used before. Mildly interesting. My Twitch 2F factor code today was 419XXX. Uh-oh. Tula. Yes. Okay, Tula. Jinteki has tools to play out of archives. Jinteki got some good tools. I think Jinteki got very interesting tools. I've said last week, like I'm not that excited to play Iswak, but I don't think you need to be. I think they just got really mean tools that can do net damage. I think like Jinteki assets as a kill probably is legitimate. I think there's a lot of like funny kill pieces. We also saw for like, we were looking at the whole set, and this whole set, so much of it, oh, thanks Orb. So much of the whole set was very, very based off of like doing damage, like damage being a problem, and like having very direct win conditions. And then there's a bunch of core damage cards. Like just about every faction got core damage cards. And then just, I think today or yesterday, they showed actually a shaper hand size card, which terrifies me because it's the sort of card where your opponent plays, you know, your win condition just kind of flew out the back, which is a problem. But yeah, I'm very confused to see like how core damage versus people who want to take core damage versus archetypes that win off of doing like 3 or 4 damage consistently. So yeah, I don't know. Seems kind of hard. Best defense? Is it 0 cost, Shishu? How's it going, Shishu? DM'd it? Okay, this is it, Izzy, so I appreciate it. I don't have Discord open right now. The discard from hand on Hafren has some good utility to work for Jinteki Archives play. It does, but so does everything, right? Like, so does every other card. Like, I'd rather play Anemone over it most times. Obviously, if your deck is not trying to capitalize on net damage. But you're totally right. But the thing is, like, I don't think that faction struggles to find ways. Like, I think we have to be a bit more discerning. I feel it's kind of like Essa right now. I think Essa, you don't want to jam every single core damage card in it. You just have better core damage cards than others. Like, I don't know if you need to play Begamut when you have other options that can do core damage, because there's only so much you can do. You can only run so many discard cards in your deck before your deck is dysfunctional, entirely dysfunctional, or your hand is 2 agendas and that you discarded everything else. So like, while half run seems cool, I don't know, Anemone seems stronger, Anoetic seems stronger. Maybe there's other stuff too, right? Like whatever I keep calling it the bird barbecue card, but that one, that also seems really good. That Shaper card has nice synergy with Stoneship too, because it's chargeable. Oh, the hand size one? Yeah. I think it's a thing. I think Dig might start to see some amount of play because there's just so many charge cards. Still probably a bit difficult, but there's also a lot of smaller agendas like this one, so Dig seems slightly better. What else is there? There's I think playing Padma too seems more interesting. I don't know if Orca is kind of selling me yet, but there's just enough charge stuff. This art is really good. All right, Hybrid Release 2-1. When you score this agenda, you may install 1 face down card from Archives. 2-1 agenda, pretty scary. Install Advance. You can leave it on the table if you really want, and it becomes a 2-2 from Iswak if they're scared. And they could be. I think it could be easy to do that. I read the lore. I read the lore on this one. I read the 2 of Aaron's writings, this one and then the other one, the Ampere one. And I think I like the Ampere one more, but not that this one wasn't good. But the Ampere one had French swears in it, and even French swears translated to English, which is really fun. But they both have like really fun endings if you read them. I feel like Orca will come late season and do something broken we all missed, calling it now. Maybe. But I think there's like World Tree is the one I want to play. If I want to pay a lot of money for a program that's a bit nonsense, it's going to be World Tree. I don't know. I'm such a big fan of World Tree. We'll get to it in a bit, but yeah, I don't know. Orca seems to me like it did something different in testing, and maybe it was like post. It really feels to me like a card that was probably very powerful and probably pivotal to a set, and then probably post people's reaction to the boat endurance, it probably got nerfed. It's still a very powerful effect. Like if you can get it down, whether you have to spark of it's obviously good. It's one of the best ways that Shaper can deal with some sentries, barring Iswak. Is its name Iswak? Hold on, where's this thing? This thing, right? Like, that's a lot of MU. That's a lot of credits. It is good at breaking mid-range sentries, but like a 10 cost solution to breaking mid-range sentries is a hard sell, especially when you can pay the boat for 8. But obviously these two together seem really good. To me, it feels like this card had to get nerfed because of people's reaction to boat. And if this was too good on top of the boat, like it'd be boat forever. So I don't know. Ochre got no changes post MS, but it was broken several times in testing. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. This seems like it might have been different at some point, but I'm not fully sold on this one. And the thing about this card, like, if it is good, it's probably really good. Charging is something that's pretty limited, and we've seen a lot of good charge cards. Like the idea that you can run Centrals and get free charges on the Wake chip, or whatever exactly it's called right now. Apologies, I haven't internalized all the card names. Yeah, that seems kind of good. It's just 10 and 2 MU. I'd rather play the Earth Tree, but the World Tree, excuse me. Man, love this in Ag Infusion. Jeremy, which one? How's it going? World Tree's awesome. Universal Tutor, so cool. World Tree is like straight up, I think, the coolest card in the whole set. All right, we're just gonna jump it. Oh wait, where? Jump to this. I think this is so good. I don't know. Some people think this is jank. I think this is like the best card in a really long time. And I do think that it's definitely jank, and I don't think it's universally playable. But if you haven't seen this one was released today. It came out in an article that talks about rotation, which is really cool. Startup, mind you, rotation is something that needs to be addressed, because Startup is the only format having a rotation, and it's having one of the biggest rotations Netrunner has ever seen in any format. Just the Startup rotation, which rotates the whole Ashes cycle out as of Monday, maybe even tomorrow, technically, I'm not sure. But this has cost 6 credits for 2 MU. It's absolutely wild. This is the first time you make a successful run before you breach, mind you, the run's declared successful. You can trash one of your cards to search your stack for one card of the same type. So hardware for hardware, resource for resource, program for program, install it, reducing its cost by 3. What? That's ridiculous. Like taking a card out of your deck, finding any card you want, and then taking it out of your deck and installing it and reducing its cost by 3 is such an immense amount of click compression, immense amount of value on top of already doing a run. And admittedly, if you can't make runs, this gets a lot worse. That's obvious. But ideally, you're running anyways because you're playing Netrunner. But this is so wild. The big problem with this is like finding enough cards that you want to forfeit, because trashing your own installed card is technically meant to be a cost. But if you can imagine situations where you have empty imps or empty Palangis or like a daily cast on 2 credits, or a 1 cost resource becomes a 5 cost resource, a 1 of singleton from your deck, or you can run so many tech cards and then actually pull hardware tech cards or resource tech cards. You can run 1 of the like resource that stops you from dying to tags or core damage, and you can pull it from your deck. Seems really good, but of course very clumsy, but so good, so good. I feel like Orca will come late season. Excuse me, I already read that. Dag seems much better in startup now. There's all X2s and 2-1s. Yeah, it'll probably be a bit better. Have we seen anything close to that expensive for program before? No, Power Guide, that's the most expensive program ever printed. It's not the most expensive card, but it's the most expensive program. Combined with Flux Capacitor. Yeah, Flux Capacitor seems playable. Yeah, program's expensive. Fem was 9. Torch was 9. We've never had a 10 cost. Everyone's all like universal tutor. Psh, can't even tutor events. Yeah, but like, you know, isn't the whole set on NRDB? Red, no, it's not. Only a bit of the set is out on NetRunnerDB. Largely the cards on NetRunnerDB, at least as of an hour ago, were the cards that have been spoiled for a while. Yeah, it's still missing a fair bit. Like this card's not there, right? No. All the cards that were spoiled on NetRunnerDB I have as images here, so like this is Flux Capacitor, but no, not everything is yet. Part of the PL has how good it looks. The World Tree, it's a Liga. It's gonna look good for sure. Rotation is technically tomorrow, but it's up to event organizers until the 12th. Ooh. Liga nails it again. Yeah, Liga's good. Turns out Liga is good. Not that we didn't know that. Oh, the art is so good for this whole set. Like the art is better than Midnight Sun. And like people looked at Midnight Sun to be like, wow, this art is way better than everything before, but it just keeps getting better, which is really exciting. You know, imagine 2 years from now where it's all in the Louvre. But yeah, it's really, really good. I'm looking at the cards now. Yeah, it's not all of them. It's most of them. Like this is meant to be 63 cards. We're missing 20. Not that we've even seen all the cards yet, but not all of the things. NetRunnerDB updates sporadically. Should update before noon tomorrow. Janet is the lead in the wind as usual. Is the lead in the wind. Yeah, I'm excited to know when Janet gets updated because we'll be hitting the streets as soon as that's the case. Gotta go swing swords. Have a great stream. Yeah, Lori, good luck with the swords. Good stuff on the release. Good luck tomorrow. Reaper faction art is incredible. Oh, we have Reaper. Hold on. We didn't go through all of these. We're going to go through all this. Are we going to play the deck list of the week? We probably are. This already is like kind of off the rails, but that's great. Midnight Sun was better on the whole than FFG art was. And now Parhelion is another step above and beyond. Yes. I don't know. FFG art's actually really quite good. Why does it have -4 downvotes? What's going on here? Who is participating in Imager like this? And then downvoting spoiler cards. Okay. Reaper function. Okay, so hybrid releases a 2-1, and you may install 1 face down card from archives. There's probably some pretty rude interactions here. I think one of the rude interactions is that there's a score window before start a turn trigger. So if you install advances and leave this on a table with Isawak, which you might do, or if you're playing potential Unleashed, or sorry, Jinteki, not potential Unleashed, personal evolution, you can score this, do a net damage, and then get a Reaper function on the table, and then still res it before start a turn. So they can just take 3 net damage out of nowhere if they've trashed a Reaper function. Technically not, because the card has to be face down, and that's always the tricky thing. And now actually like running archives really matters. Whether people want to play Restoring Humanity, this is like the thing to me that makes no sense, is that everyone's really excited to play all these face down cards. Things matters in Restoring Humanity, but that's literally the one faction that people are most likely to want to run archives consistently. I don't understand this, and I think people are still going to do it and still going to be good because they're going to get a couple credits. But like, if there's, you got to sneak this stuff out. You got to be subtle about it. You don't want to be wearing the big name tag that says, please run archives constantly. I'm regenesising it. So you see regenesis, I think, in PE a bit, but yeah. It was me, Barry. Chris, I don't know what that is. How's it going? Rails on Metropole Grid? Moonpool shenanigans. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with this, but yeah, just it's very important to understand that there's a paid ability window before your startup turn as a corporation. That's the startup turn that a lot of players will res things like Pat Campaign, Rashida, Yahim, whatever you want, right? So that it's res while startup turn triggers. And then that paid ability window is also not only a res window, not only a paid ability window, like general paid ability window, it's also a score window. You can't score agendas on their opponent's turn, but you can score them on your turn. So there's a window there. So you can score hybrid release and then get something on the table that's meaningful. Like in theory, you could get like a, what's it called? I don't know, like what's the Lady Liberty, right? Like fine. You could get a Rashida and fire it. Cool, that's neat. So yeah, that's cool. But I think that's really important when it comes to this thing. And this art's great. This is an Adamus Doyle. Phenomenal. A lot of conversation went on about how the art was framed, specifically the focus being on the scythe as opposed to the Reaper. And this thing's really scary, and it just is directly a win condition on a non-unique card if you do not run these. And install advance is not something you can do to them, so you're going to have to either protect them or bluff and play assets or play Bladderwort, whatever you do. But it's also really good with Bladderwort because it's very easy to res this and then hopefully be underneath 4 credits. So yeah, this is good. I think this is really exciting in op, where you can trash a border control last click and then do that, and then also do some good op stuff. There's a lot of really cool cards in this set that can make op very lethal, and I'm very excited for that. That was the ag comment, by the way. Get an ice trash to bounce. Oh, cool. With hybrid release and ag? Yeah, Ag Infusion actually has a lot of support with the set, because there's a lot of stuff that cares about face down trash cards. And yeah, totally right. Ag does that very, very consistently. We always get downvotes on the real ones because of the drill salt. You guys were very aggressive, by the way, on the opening of the video. Or sorry, not the video, the podcast. Hey, Sanjay. If you have Nanny on archives, the cost to run archives will start to grow. Okay, hold on. We'll jump to Nanny. Nanny's not here, and I have Nanny here. So, firstly, is Nanny meant to look like a beached whale? Or a beached shark? Because it looks like a beached shark. Is that me? This is a Rodriguez, but it looks like a beached shark. I don't know if that was pointed out. Kakarembo turns things face down in archives. Shishu, Kakarembo is a card that we should all take and discard. Like, not into our archives, but like out of the binders or the boxes we have. We should all live in a post-Kakarembo world, and we'll all feel happier if we never have to Kakarembo again. And it's such a shame that people want to play Kakarembo in the near future, but we are anti-Kakarembo here in the Metropole Grid. I switched to PE in my Regenesis deck, and yeah, it feels much better. Yeah, it's really much easier. 2 influences so low for a win con like this for Reaper. Yeah, 2 influences is kind of low. I don't know how much influence bioethics is, but it couldn't have been less than that. It's probably more than that. Yeah, it's a real shark, right? This is a real shark. Did you say you already started an Arkham channel? Or are you going to? I've kind of before. We've done Arkham streaming before. I've kind of mocked it up, but I haven't done it before. I need more time. I would like to, but no, it's not something we've committed to. Maybe next year. Nanny's the first Canadian location in Netrunner. Wait, for real? Should have started the stream with it. There was something else I was reading that Null Signal was like, there's another Canadian pop-up. And I think they also were killed off really quickly. No, like in the lore, no joke. Oh man. Kakaremba hate, the cat is sad. I'm here for any Sandberg hate. There's a lot of cards. You guys said this about Sandberg and you're just wrong. Sandberg is fine because Sandberg is really bad right now. It doesn't like, it's not fun to play against, but it doesn't inherently mess up a lot of stuff. Nanocivic Grid is a Canadian region and it's a dead shark. Turn sideways. Okay, when the runner approaches this server, you may turn a face down piece of ice on archives face up. If you do, resolve 1 subroutine on that ice. So inherently, if you put this on archives, they can't really run and force a flip because they'll get something to happen to them. And it's really important that this says, just like Zato City Grid, it doesn't say choose an ice they are encountering. It just says resolve. So that's going to happen. If they hit a Bathynomus, it's just going to do 3 net damage, which is obviously a lot of net damage. But importantly, this card doesn't have to be in front of archives. Now, of course, they can just run archives to diffuse this, to diffuse your what's it called? The story, the hybrid release story is like very terrifying. But there's a lot of reasons why they want to run archives. That's a reason that you can put this on archives. Sorry. Oh man, I can't tell when I have the art up or not. Cool thing also about Nanocivic Grid, the same thing about Zato, is it's not unique. So you can actually Nanocivic Grid up everything. And for 2 res costs, it's pretty affordable to do 3 net damage. Your Bathynomus was just going to be flipped. So if you can again flip everything, and I do think Kakarembo is probably very playable. Please don't talk about it. You see the shark now. It's a real shark there, right? Kakarembo plays very well with Nanny Grid though. Yeah, Solmir. I know. I don't like it. I really don't like it. You can do Formicary shenanigans with this, I think. This says when the runner approaches the server. Yeah, you can do Formicary shenanigans. You can make it very quite lethal. Any card that says when the runner approaches, you can force them to unapproach with Formicary. And I've heard a lot of, because we've made a lot of stink about Formicary on this channel for many reasons. I've heard a lot of people say things like, oh man, I really hope that Null Signal Games changes that interaction, or I really hope that they ban Formicary, or, you know, anything along those lines, because people don't like that interaction. It's unintuitive and it doesn't seem correct. It's a really cool trick that people are playing on, but very, very funny. that yeah, null signal games is like, here's a former carry alt art. So I think a former carry is very well understood of what it should do, and we're supporting it. On that note, I do like that null signal games is doing alt arts for cards that are really hard to find, because there's a Rain and Reverie card. So there's a lot of players who will never find the FFG version of this, and of course you can proxy, but it's good that a lot of these cards are hard to get or get support. So that's great. Pathology must actually become a faction stable. It was the whole time. It never was. It really never wasn't. A little more palatable to flip a tier than trash a tier. Oh yeah, that's huge. The fact that you just flip it, you fire subroutines, yeah, some core damage. And Nana's only 2 influence. Like you can play Nanny literally anywhere as long as there's face down cards. I wish I had more ants on it. It's not as anti as it could be, but it's good. It's still really nice. 3 hybrid plus 3 reapers is still 12 HP damage over the game, even without more recursion. Feels rude, but it'd be fun to explore. That's again, like, it's really hard to evaluate the meta right now, because we've seen so many things that can just fire subroutines, that can just do core damage, that can just do net damage, that can just trash programs. And I don't know how people are going to react to it, right? Like with Thule, there is just core damage being a very like cromulent win condition. And it's so easy for runners just to say like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to play Caldera, let alone Tutor or Caldera if they're really playing the World Tree. But like these things just kind of turn off their whole ability. And admittedly, HB got a tag card, so they can start to deal with this and trash this, but it's not like everyone's packing tag heat. Everyone's packing tag removal. Everyone's packing tag removal. Are you going to be on Friday trying to kill people at the end of the line? Yeah, you might have a brief window because people are playing all the new cards and forget to put their tag tech in it. But like come Tuesday, yeah. So I don't know. Like it's so easy to counter tech these things, and it's really weird to get like an archetype that's based off of core damage when core damage is 3 credits to prevent it. Immediately, maybe they can do enough core damage, it doesn't matter. But like, I'm really kind of interested to see how this happens, because there's just so many cards now that, you know, they just hit you. Let me see. Bad math, 3 times 6 is 18 HP. Though the number went up. That's better. We absolutely know what format carry is for. Please, I'm a follower of tournaments. Nobody expects that you're not a follower of tournaments, but like, I don't know. I think some people think it's like a niche interaction that shows up on tables, but like, no, it's showing up in top table text. It really is. I really wish Nanocivic Grid had been spoiled when I built my Iswak Gunslinger deck that spent a zillion influence on Zatos. Yeah, but now you're excited to go back and rebuild, aren't you? There's a story. Vention Keeling shows up. This is the story that Shoeflower, she wrote. It's pretty great. And you see the art on the left, I guess, starts to be pretty impactful. But when you res this asset and when your turn begins, place 1 power counter on this asset. So when you res this asset and when your turn begins means it's going to start with 2 power counters. Now, you can res this during the end of the runner's turn before they discard down, so that they can be surprised and suddenly have 4 hand size if they haven't taken any core damage. And that's kind of a real big thing here. And then eventually it'll be 3 hand size. But of course, you only discard down to hand size when your hand size is checked during the end of your turn when you discard down. So it won't matter now, but it will matter eventually. And then if you don't deal with this, you will eventually lose the game. Negative hand size is a lose condition to the game. If you ever fail to discard down to -1 cards, you lose the game, and you literally cannot discard down to -1 cards. Now, admittedly, of course, it's an asset, so pinhole threading and light the fire and all that. But this is very mean and very scary. It might be very easy to get the runner down to 4 cards in hand, let alone if they're taking core damage to like 2 cards in hand, and then, you know, they die to just like Reaper functions. Admittedly, this was spoiled way before they showed the Shaper just get infinite hand size card, which maybe that does see play. I honestly don't know. But cards like this too, they showed a Shaper card. I don't know if I have it here. I think I do. What do y'all think about this? Because they showed this Shaper card. Do I have it? Yeah, this one, right? Basilar Synthclan 2K VG. There's a lot of numbers and letters attached to a bunch of these cards because they are like names and attributions to people who work on the null signal games thing. Largely people are just going to ignore them and never say them again, which is, you know, it's easier for people just to say, call this Basilar or Synthclan. Yeah, I don't know. I stumble over it anytime I say it, so it is what it is. But obviously a free click every turn is good, but taking 2 core damage into like Thule, into like End of the Line, into Dr. Vention Keeling seems near impossible. And currently in standard, there's better ways to get clicks. They're not unconditional, but I think I wouldn't play this unless, you know, you can really fix your hand size, because this seems so disgusting. Got to score the hybrid release on a Jupestad grid in PE. How much influence is Jupestad? It's probably a lot. Doctor doesn't even count core damage? No. Yeah, this is on top of all the core damage hand size. Both Shoeflower stories are so flipping good. They really are. I did read them. Actually, tonight I read them because I hadn't caught up on a bunch of stuff. There's still a bunch of articles I haven't fully read, which is a bit upsetting. Keeling is just straight up better than Borehole. It makes me sad. I think Borehole is like, I'm glad it exists, but Borehole does not seem like a reasonable win condition compared to this. This does seem like a reasonable win condition. Yeah, Borehole seems way harder. Get forked and sell both of them. What's the best single sub currently? Bath or Trebuchet? I think Trebuchet is probably it. It depends on what you're wanting to do. Tier for 2 core damage is like a very good sub routine. You can prevent core damage. You can prevent trashing abstractly, but not every deck wants to do core damage, right? Just about every deck would be interested in trashing a card, but there's only certain decks that care about core damage. So it's a bit of a thing. Hey, Cody, 2 cores is a big cost. 2 cores is an absurd cost. 2 cores is a ludicrous cost to this. When you could just play Beth, and Beth doesn't always give you a click. But 2 cores is a monstrous cost. I don't know. I like, obviously a powerful card, and I've saw a lot of people really stoked for this, but this seems unplayable. I don't know. Half the set is about trying to hurt you with hand size stuff, and then you want to take 2 core damage. I think if the runner installs this, I'm like stoked playing my now op kill combo deck. Tanaka, how's it going? The more I see Jateki cards, the more I see how much Jurassic Park is an influence. I don't know if you read the narrative stuff, Tanaka, but like, yes, they are bringing back the dead, the extinct from old DNA, and it's really compelling, especially because so many people paint, you know, corporations just, you know, with a very wide brush as being villainous and evil, the good versus the bad, and this set is definitely a lot more nuanced, and I think a lot of people appreciate that, myself included. The neutral corporation kind of slaps. That story I liked a heck of a lot. Just heartbeat the core easy. It's not a cost, is it? No, it's not a cost. So if you can prevent the core damage, you can actually play this. That's different to other cards like Running Hot that says an additional cost, because then if you prevent it, you didn't pay the cost, so the card fizzles. Heartbeat gonna start seeing a lot of play. It's wild. Okay, I'll pull up Heartbeat, but yeah, Heartbeat technically works, right? Like Heartbeat is, that's not right, is a way to deal with just all the damage decks. And Heartbeat almost won Worlds. Like this was a meta card in a very narrow meta where like having universal damage prevention was like a very sought after thing. So I wouldn't poo-poo this. Tithonium trashes a resource and ends a run. Tithonium's really good. Tithonium is definitely a good card, and I think it's a very playable card in like personal evolution. If you don't care about scoring out, like you sacrifice a 1-pointer, you don't care. But yeah, it's good. Heartbeat plus Bankar is a rig. Oh, it's so expensive. It's so expensive. Just use Chrome Parlor. Oh man, it's rotated. I'm never playing a 4-click Shaper again. Jeff, are you on board with this like take 2 core damage thing? What do you know that I don't? Basilar Shinthran till it rotates. Oh my lord. Okay. I hope you don't. I hope you pack some sort of card draw. Yeah, you just play Stone Ship. What am I talking about? Just Caldera the core, and then you're back to 7 credits for a Beckman that's immune to. Yeah, Beckman cost 7, and that was like reasonable. It wasn't reasonable. It never was reasonable. Hippocampic Mechanocytes is the card spoiled with Impair. Yeah, so actually, I have that open. We should talk about Impair. We really should talk about Impair. God, there's so much I want to talk about. Sorry, we're jumping all over. I just don't know where it was. Shredded nerves. That's it. Okay, so we'll start here. Hippocampic Mechanocyte, I think is what it says. Yeah, sites, 0 cost, 2 influence, unique. When you install this, place 2 power counters and suffer a meat damage. That's a bit better than a core damage. Get 1 maximum hand size for each hosted power counter. So you take a damage, but then your hand size goes up to 7. So then you can easily take the 2 core damage and then you're on 5 hand size, and it only costs you 3 cards and then some other stuff. So it's tricky. It's difficult. Preventing the damage is just waste. Yeah, I don't think paying 6 credits to prevent the damage makes sense. But this card I think is like very, very playable. And this is the closest thing that we have in startup, let alone in standard, as a universal protection. The idea with this card too is you can charge it. You have to be playing either like Padma or Daig or Orca, or even just using your, I guess, your log vault, your, what's it called? I don't remember anymore. We're way too deep into Jeffism. But yeah, that's totally doable. Like this is the sort of card that 2014 Netrunner, when I played the Wayland tag and bag deck, someone put down a Blast Crate and you're like, I guess my game plan is entirely over. I'll concede in 5 turns. It's not exactly that bad. It's 0 cost, so like you can best defense it. There's ways to deal with it. But yeah, this is like a real big thorn in the side of anyone who wants to hurt someone. Beckman cost 8. She cost 8? I thought she cost 7. Honestly, you can just play this and other Shaper Cybernetics and your hand size is fine. You can. It's clumsy. You can. There's a chance you don't need to play this. Like if you can get away with having 3 hand size in Shaper, I don't think it's the end of the world. It means you don't play Lat, which is fine. I think people are titled Lat. EDH, the identity, yeah. Building Impair decks is kind of my top priority. That's the problem, is like the new set's going to come out and it's going to have like a lot of new and interesting cards, but I'm just going to be playing Impair. Like nothing's going to matter. Admittedly, I'll be seeing some of the new cards, but I will not be playing, you know, whatever the standard's meant to look like. Sable plus Synth Gland plus Heartbeat, more clicks to boost Smartware Distributor. Build your own Rozeki. Build your own bagpipe biter out of Padma. I also won't be mad at something encouraging me to slot a best defense. I will. I really don't like the design of this thing. This is the card that always shows up as a... This is what the NFL defensive team rankings for this season is. But yeah, best defense is like a really simple card. It just says trash a zero coster unless tags are involved, and then it actually becomes and does something. But now with things like, you know, Gaslight, people might be more excited to play one of operations that are a bit more situational. I think Gaslight's obviously a very powerful card and might be actually one of the strongest cards in the set. We'll see how it plays out, but it seems like it. But this idea is you can trash any zero costers that are really important. People are playing these sometimes just to bring down, you know, those pesky no free lunches that are hanging out that are really detrimental to some Drago plans, something like that. But we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you need to do this just to bring down one of those shaper hand size stuffs. Okay. Do you guys, y'all think this is good? I think we have to put it together to see if it's good. I think it could be okay. This is Ampere, and we've been promised a neutral corporation and a neutral runner. Check out the story associated with this. It's quite good. But you got 45 deck building. So that's 49 cards, 45 to 49. You have infinite influence, a symbol we haven't seen before. I'm going to play some one-of operations and one corp ID, I can tell you. Yeah, I'm going to have a lot of one-ofs in this. It's not good, and I don't care. I think it might be fine. I think Ampere can be okay. In startup, it feels so bad. So we crunched the numbers with this. So you can build whatever size deck you want in Netrunner above your minimum, right? So we crunched it, and it seems like in standard, the biggest Ampere deck you can build is 319 cards. At that point, you just run out of agendas, and you can no longer build a legal deck. So we will definitely be playing the 319 card standard Ampere deck. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be really terrible because while big decks, I believe in like the big max decks, if you've seen those, you can generally scale your deck up while still having the ratios of breakers to multi-access to economy to draw. The problem is as soon as you hit 319 cards, your economy cards are like 1 in 20. So it's really quite bad. So I'm not going to do it, but you can do it. I think in startup, it's very interesting because the startup card pool shrinks and startup actually loses 3-pointers. So your in-faction 3-pointers don't exist anymore. You only have in-faction 2-pointers. So the biggest Ampere deck you can build in startup is only like 59 cards. It's like a reasonable deck that you can play a 59 card, the biggest Ampere deck you can build in startup. And it probably won't be the worst thing. But again, it's so hard to talk about what startup's going to look like. Try to build Ampere. It's so hard to get a 49 cards. Let's do it. Let's just talk about this real quick. It's neutral. Important to know, neutral is just not a faction. It largely doesn't matter. Well, kind of does. You can only have one of each card, and for each faction, you can only include 2 agendas. And of course, those agendas have to be different because of the previous directive. So the idea here is we're going to have a bunch of different agendas, one of each agenda. A lot of them are going to have to be neutral, but classically the neutral agendas are the good ones in Netrunner to some extent. And then we can play all the influence we want on everything. The question is, how do you win and how do you make economy? And one of those problems I think is a bit harder than the other. But this deck can actually run like an immense amount of 3-2 agendas because we can have access to all the 3-2 agendas, and each faction has usually 2 of them. So, and neutral doesn't. But we can play all the 3-2 agendas, and then we can just play every single fast advance piece, every single defensive upgrade, and then all the best heights. And I think we can do it. Where we're going to struggle is economy. Because I honestly think splashing one of each economy piece from each faction is probably not as good as just having 3 hedge funds and 3 spin doctors to some extent. But I think it's totally doable. I think it's hard to face check into this thing because they have everything. Not that everything is good. Like paying 8 credits for an Anansi doesn't really make sense if you're a fast advance deck, but the threat is real. Yeah, Liminal Instant Include. It's going to be really cool to see what people do with the 3-2s, the 8 3-2s. Like Liminal is probably one of the better ones, that's for sure. Commander format. It's commander format for sure. And I know Jeff Senger talked about like running a tournament series in this. I'm definitely going to be doing that too. To some extent, like we're going to be running Ampere tournaments on this channel for sure because it's so fun. Especially also the neutral runner. If it's similar to this, that's all you're going to be able to play. Neutral faction, not a real faction. The Genesis Suite is going to be the most fun to decide. We'll try and build one right now. Even with a modern card pool, you'll see what you can do. But I don't think it's going to be terrible. And we've seen most of the cards anyway, so we're going to be like 90% there. The one up for ice is interesting. It's cool because you can play one of the best ice from every card pool, right? It's like, oh, drafter, sick, I can play it. I could play Archangel for 4 influence if I really wanted to. Okay, let's do that. Do you want to play Tyr for no influence? You could do it again. I don't think you should. It doesn't really make sense. But you have like, you can play Managarm, you can play Zato, you can play Nanocivic, you can play what's it called? Anoetic. You can play all the stuff, all the defensive upgrades. You can play all the lockdowns. Then you have Biotic Labor, you have Audacity, you have Trickle Light, you have everything. And while I do think you can also technically build like a hard-hitting news tag deck and have some tag punishment, I don't believe in that, because I want to be able that every card I draw is like a top deck is a reasonable plan. So I generally don't want to have cards that interact together. You're going to have as much tutoring as you can, as much like sprint and like spin doctor. You're going to have whatever that bird barbecue card is. You're going to have all of these things. You're going to have attitude adjustment. Maybe you want to have what's it called? Digital rights management. But like you just jam all the defensives one-ofs, and then the top deck of your deck is hopefully on average a deck. I don't know. I'm worried about economy. That's the thing. Yeah, we play all the tutor we can. We play gaslighting, genotyping. Yeah, probably. Not having 3 hedge funds is so weird. Yeah, it's like, it's doable. You can play like Celebrity Gift, you have Extract, you have Planogram, you have Too Big to Fail. Like you have economy, you have Hansei, you have what's it called? The 510 government contracts type. That's not what it's called. You run Regolith, you run one Rashida, one NGO. Like you have stuff. And you can also do install advanced events. It doesn't make sense. You can run all 5 3s, have a smaller agenda density, and then have all install advanced events. Like have all the traps. Like it's so hard to read the deck. Like what is that? Is that a false flag? Is it a 2 core damage? It's hard to make that actually matter, but always run 1 snare. Like come on. It's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be cool. Thank you. Simulation resets bird barbecue. What is it? Bird barbecue is this one, which I love the art of. But it's one of those names that like just does not stick in my head, even though it's actually a really good name and is flavorful. I just call this bird barbecue. Government subsidy. Thank you. Feels real bad to play gift in this. You had to give such limited information because the rest of R&D is still a mystery. It's like if your deck doesn't have a solid game plan, showing your hand is totally fine. But like the fact that you can play mouseless and no influence, nobody can deal with that well. Like that's kind of cool. And you can run like, I don't know, 1 next activation and hope that matters. Running against Ampere. Yeah, Ampere can be anything. Also, I think we should talk about this. This article is really great and has French characters, which we haven't seen that many French characters. There's like slang and swearing in French that's translated to English, which is really fun. But from my understanding, this should be pronounced Ampere. I know a lot of people want to say Ampere, like the SI unit, but that E accenté, it's an accent grave, should be Ampere. Kind of like that. You can say it however you want, but like I reckon that's how it's meant to be in French. So enjoy that. That's a fun thing. Excuse me. I'm going to love playing Cordyceps against Ampere. The biggest problem I have with this idea is that the tedium is leaving it up. It's going to suck. And I was thinking like, it's a fun experiment to have just like the biggest one you can have for startup sleeved up, but it comes at such a great cost at your collection. Like I want to always have one of these decks on the side. So when I go to an event, someone says they're a new player, which admittedly is maybe a bad idea because they have to learn every single card. It's like every card is a reader when there's 49 new cards. But like, it's just so hard to have this sleeved at the cost of everything else, let alone you have to touch every single binder you own. So yeah, my Aussie tongue can't French. I'm sorry in advance. How does it sound in Aussie tongue? Because that's probably fine. Hades 2 just got announced at the Game Awards. Yo, fire. I actually just booted up Hades recently because it's good and it reminds me of Christmas. And it's yeah, Hades still slaps. Let's build a deck. I hope this makes top cuts so players have to read 49 individual names. Deck lists are nonsense. Firstly, faction, NA. Got to get that out of there. You're not neutral faction. But the deck list submission slips are going to break. And then for streaming, if we show deck lists, it's like literally impossible. I've been at times working on visual deck lists, like visualizers for streams and for videos. And like, you kind of have to make some big design decisions on how many cards people can play. It was like when, I don't know, Hearthstone somewhat recently allowed you to add 10 extra cards, like add, I think about 1/3 of your deck size. So people have 40 card decks. And then you saw people who did deck trackers, like everything broke. And yeah, it's going to happen. Something proxies in regarding to Ampere's fiddliness. Yes, kind of, but like, I don't know. It's a lot of work still. Amp like amplifier and ear like here. Yeah, people are going to say Ampere. That's fine. All right, let's do it. New corp deck, other. Cool. Oh, we'll do the syndicate. It's like Y2K for streaming. It's exactly Y2K for streaming. So I'll go standard, but we're going to add Parhelion, which is already in there. The NSG decklist form only has 29 lines. You're going to have to get 2 deck forms, and you're going to bleed one onto the other, and then you're going to staple maybe your runner deck to the back or whatever. All right, so we're going to have 1 of each agenda, and we're going to play all the good stuff. I got 68 draft of Ampere still making cuts. I feel like that's what's going to happen. We're going to make too many, and we're going to cut from there. So, okay, we'll play all the good agendas. So 1 Global Food Initiative, maybe. Technically not always correct if we're playing real 5-3s. If we're not playing 5-3s, yes. Off-world office, probably. Orbital superiority, no. Send a message, no. Show of force, no. Superconducting hub, definitely not. And then everything else, not. And then we have to go faction by faction. So this should be easy. Fog City, Moon City, the Syndicate. All right, what are we playing here? So we're going to play Luminal because it's really good. And what is everyone's favorite HB agenda? Like, I want to do this quickly just to see like a proof of concept. Probably Vitruvius, right? Like we're just doing 3-2s. Superconducting hub, definitely yes. No. Jinteki, unfortunately, it's longevity serum. And then like, I don't think we're playing a Project Yagi Uda. I wonder if we're like just better off playing a Nisei Mark II or something. Or even like what's it called? Not a Blood in the Water maybe, but the one that like Flower Sermon. Like I think that stuff is all pretty good. Blood in the Water is kind of tricky because I don't think anything else in our deck is going to work into it, but like people are not going to play around it. Oh, the 2-1. Yeah, you're right. We have 2-1s. We could just play the HB 2-1. Oh, that's a really good idea. Yeah. What's it? It's not here, is it? No, it's not here. So we're just going to say that this House of Knives is the 2-1. And on that note, we'll go back and we'll just play Elevagao and call it a day. So we'll take out the vert. Okay, NBN, we have a 2-1. I'm going to play 15 minutes, and then we could play the other 2-1 if we really wanted to. Otherwise, we could play Beal, or we could probably play the tagging one. I think the tagging one's pretty good, but we have access to 2-3-1s if we want. Wayland, easy. We play Above the Law. And then what are we at? We're at 16. We have to get to 20 to 21. So here we could probably not want to play more 2-1s. Yeah, Beal is really good because Beal is actually really flexible. There's a chance that Beal is better than Headline because Beal allows us to play as if we have a 5-3 if we want to. And then we'd probably play Atlas because consistency is like really, really bad for this deck. So anything that gives us consistency is good. And I do think there's a chance that we'd actually drop the 2-1s and play something bigger than that. I think 2-1s are pretty bad in this ID. Yeah, maybe not. Well, maybe actually. I think Elvagao is worse than Vitruvius because Vitruvius gives us more consistency if we can like replay an economy card abstractly. And then maybe we drop the 3-1 for something else like the Jinteki Yagi Uda or whatever. Yeah, let's just do that. So we have 11 agendas, but the runner has to steal 4 of them. We have a 15 minutes. That actually could improve. I think I'd actually rather have the 15 minutes become tomorrow's headline. And then we'll run whatever the 2-1 the release is instead of the Yagi Uda, because Yagi Uda's text is blank, let's be honest. So we'll just run House of Knives and call it a 2-1. Because you can play a 5-3 that gives econ. Which one? Okay, and then we just go through everything. Would Obo make sense just as a good defensive agenda? It could, but I think you have to make some big decisions on how you want to build your agenda suite. So generally, if you're playing 3-point agendas, you want to try and run like. If I was going to play 3-point agendas in this ID, I'd probably only run 3-point agendas because then the runner has to steal 3 of our, barring Mad Dash, of our fewer agendas. This agenda suite is really good because the runner has to steal 4 agendas barring Mad Dash. As soon as we run a real 3-pointer, now maybe they're not playing around Bologna or maybe they're not playing around Obokata, it gets easier for them to close the game out. And I'm not sure if we're going to have the best defenses, let alone the card best defense, but you know what I mean? So it depends. 15 minutes is pretty good, but the rest of your 2-1s come at the cost of a 3-2 or 5-3. Yeah, 15 minutes is like reasonable, but I think this is fine. So now we just go through and just play everything that we want to play. Again, I'm going to try to do this really quickly just to see what it looks like. So we can play one launch campaign. We definitely play an NGO front. We definitely play a Rashida. What other cards do we definitely play? We definitely play one Gaslight. We definitely play a Spin Doctor. We definitely play a Sprint. We definitely play an Attitude Adjustment. Probably play Hedge Fund. It's a good start. I don't know if we want to place a Luminal because I don't know, or not Luminal, Subliminal. One of each of the most powerful ice is a lot of defense. It is, but sometimes it isn't. We're just gonna have an HB agenda suite by the end of the game. Planogram is good. I think we probably can get away with just playing Extract and not burning anything. Malapert is interesting. I think Malapert is interesting. We can play like an Anoetic, a Managarm, a Zato, Nana Civic, which is actually in here. Seamless 100%, even though it doesn't exactly work with our agenda suite, but we could. Skunk Boys, we play as much fast advance as we can, so Biotic Labor. That again, this is going to be really hard to look at. It looks like we have a lot of cards, but we don't. Biotic Labor, what else? We have Audacity. We have Trickle Light, maybe. Fast Chiriboga. Oh, MC Austerity Policy is a really good one. We have, what's the 3-1? The yellow Calibration, the XRN had it. We have Sansan City Grid. And probably good enough, we'll see. But that seems like some win condition. And then we just look at our ice, and then we can just jam whatever upgrades we want. Like we can just literally hit every button here and just say whatever ice we like. Arella Salvatore, I'm not 100% sold on. I think maybe, but not great. Vlad is fine. Vlad's seamless. Yeah, it's cute. How's it going to tops? It's just one ofs is like kind of hard, but we can put a Vlad in there and cut it eventually. We're already at 34 cards. All right, best ice. Afshar, yes. We're only doing best ice. Aket, I think maybe. Anemone, we don't really care about the damage. Uncel, yeah. Archangel, honestly, maybe. It's actually a pretty mean face check and fires from Essentials. Archer, Assassin, Authenticator, Ballista, Bathonomous, Blockchain, Border Control, 100%. Bulwark, Chiashi, Branda, honestly, maybe. I don't know how good our economy is. Congratulations, Conundrum, Data Loop, Data Ward. I just want to see like what a good suite looks like before we start to have to like reach. Drafter is good enough. Eli is good enough. Echo's not good enough, but Wave is actually quite good. Eula is good enough. Enigma is good enough. What else? Let me move my face. This will make more sense. Fairchild 3, great. Fairchild 2 is like fine. Formicary, we actually have Formicary combos. I just don't want to top deck the Formicary and have that to be the ice we have. A Gatekeeper's fine. A half run I'll play because it's new. A Hagen will play because it's great. Hordem will play, probably, might get cut. Ice Wall will probably play. IP Block will definitely play. What else we got? Again, there's new ice in the set that's not here. Klevitnik makes no sense to me. Literally don't understand. Loki's like fine. Jua is funny. Jua is not bad. Jua is honestly not a bad card. I think Jua gets a bit underrated. I submitted a deck list for this. Can I just write shrug emoji or ask for the total influence spend? Yeah, you just write infinity. It's like really easy. I saw because the alterate is so good. It is good. Macrophage, no. Magna, 100%. Maskarovka, like probably not. Misfingo, probably not. But if you're like really meta conscious, Mouseholes, definitely. Mind Game, Mirajum, Lindsay, Naja, Noreen, News, Next, Night Dancer, Adudadwa. Oh man, I want to play Night Dancer. Odoroshi, Owl, Palisade, maybe. I want to see how many hard barriers we have. Pharaoh's Ping, Pop-Up Window, probably. Ping, maybe, honestly. Rhyme, Rototurret would be considered potentially. Sandstorm, what's Sandman? Sandman? Since when? Sapper, okay. Sherlock Special Officer, Stavka honestly could include. Swordsman, Thimblerig, definitely. I just want to get the definitely's in here. Tithe is like a pretty high. Toll Booth, probably. I don't know how good our money is. If we're a fast advance deck, probably not. As fast advance as we can be. Trebuchet, Turnpike is amazing. Vasilisa, Veritas, Watchtower, Wave. Definitely Wave. And maybe a wraparound. Tribunal for memes? Okay. So we're at 63 cards. So we obviously got to like cut this down. 9 barriers is a bit too much. So now we just pay like what the best is. What is the best thing we can get? So we want to cut down to barriers. We want to play 49 cards. So we're looking at about 60 nice. So multi. Oh, that's cool. So we want to cut out a bunch of these. So we can cut out the chaff, right? What's our best barriers? That'd be Aket, Border Control, Eli, Eula, Hagen. So, oh, actually all these barriers are good. So we cut Ping, Palisade, and Ice Wall. So 6 barriers is a lot. We can cut that. Code gates, we have way too many. I think we can definitely cut a Hordem. We can definitely cut a pop-up window. Our economy is probably good. We can cut a toll booth, and we actually probably can cut a wave because there's no single ice that I think we need. However, this does give us flexibility, but on its own is not good enough for a top deck. Half run, yeah, okay, well, whatever. Loki, probably not good enough. We don't have enough barriers, but it's just kind of cool they can play Loki. Oh, it doesn't care about buy rights. It can do anything. Not good enough. Like, this is a fine deck. Like, this is kind of reasonable. Sentries, we have too many. So we're at 6, 7, we're at 13. So Ansel, great drafter. Rototurret, questionable. Sapper or Stavka, I think I'd rather have the Stavka. This is kind of up for interpretation. Let's just cut one of these. Cut a pop-up because our economy is probably good. I saw the mouse was there. That's basically a pop-up window, right? And we have 52 cards. So we cut 3 more cards and we're kind of there. Like, this is kind of a fine deck. What does the draw like? Do we need more defensive upgrades? Do we need more things to jam into remote server? But like draw 5 after resetting. Okay. So what do we have here? Honestly, fine. We would keep this hand. We could Thimble Rig Centrals. We could do Gatekeeper on the remote server and either draw a launch campaign or Gaslight. I'm not really excited to Gaslight for a hedge fund, but I guess we can do it. Hey, Kevin, how's it going? We're just trying to see what Ampere is looking like. How's it going, by the way? Congrats on the set release, maybe tomorrow. Kevin, do you know when the set's live tomorrow on JNet? We have fast events. You had an added event economy. Oh, did we not? I think we did. I just don't think we did enough. Oh, you're right. We haven't added enough operations. So hold on. Okay. Operations. RLC, Regolith. Oh, yeah. Okay. Hold on. We have way too many cards. We're actually going to have to tune this down, which is actually a really exciting place to be. So ignore this and we'll cover it. NSG separate from JNet. That's what I reckoned. I was wondering if there would be a different answer. They release when they want. Okay. All right. Good to know. All right. What else do we want? So we need to get economy into the deck. That's going to be our sticking point for sure. I'll put a celebrity gift because it's good enough. We'll play Some of these cards probably give you credits. Fully operational is good enough. Game over. Subsidy is good enough. Hansei review is probably fine. Hedge fund's great. Love it. Hypoxia, Kakarenbo, load testing, market forces, informant, mitosis, neurospike, O2, observe and destroy, psycho, public trail, punitive, red level, clearance is fine. Red planet couriers. I don't think we're missing anything. This seems fine. I think you play like one NAPD chord and that's like pretty good. Subliminal I don't believe in. I think they can run. Kakarenbo is another use of the NGO. Solar, if we did that, we'd also want to run Biovault, which I don't think works with our deck. But yeah, it's not the worst idea. Kakarenbo is just like recursion. It's just kind of okay. Too big to fail is probably playable, but we'll see how bad that bites us. If we're a fast advanced deck, I think that's perfect. I think we missed one. Simulation reset. Yeah. That's the one. That's a good one. Where is it? This one. Barbecue. Okay. So we're up at 60 cards. So again, ice is, I think we have too much. We have 5 + 7, 12, 18 ice. So we can cut 2 ice for sure. That doesn't take us anywhere near enough. Then we can cut the economy that we like is really bad. So we can cut the worst cards here. Is sim reset better than genotyping? Yes. Genotyping is just recursion. Sim reset is a new hand. Glad we found the corp to match for Andre. Like Ob fits me. Yo, Ob is still probably the best thing. I just think Ampere is going to be really, really fun. Okay, Trickle Light's going to be an issue because we don't have enough advanceable ice. So we cut that. Let's just do everything. Sprints, seamless launch. I think seamless launch is like very cuttable, but it's fine. It's fine. Red level planogram is good. Hedge fund is good. Hansei is probably cuttable. We'll see if we have too much economy, but like this or celebrity gift probably goes. The operation seems good. Attitude adjustment is like one card that we could probably get rid of because ideally we're fast advancing our cards more than we are keeping them in hand. Kind of Big Max vibes, but only one of each card. Yeah, Sophie, totally. It's like Big Max vibes where we need to make sure we still retain Big Max energy, which is ensuring that we have one, like a good enough ratio, right? Like your deck size obviously matters. The smaller is the more consistent. But if you can define a ratio, like out of every 5 cards, one's an agenda, one's an economy, one's a win condition, and 2 are ice or whatever you make up, like as long as you scale that up equally, it should be fine. Big deal plus Regenesis. I don't want to play Regenesis because I have no faith in we're getting that, but big deal is only possible if we have a robust economy, and boy, do I not believe in that fact. But I do think big deal is like very playable in this deck if you build it a certain way. Runner accesses of R&D are all going to be like, huh, yeah. No, it's no taking is going to be important in this one. All right, so worst fast advance calibration testing is not a good fast advance piece. Malapur, honestly, as good as this is, this seems really hard to use. Like, this seems very difficult to use this. I think Nanocivic Grid is probably a bit too cute. It's probably a bit too cute. Well, we'll try it because it's a new card, but like eventually we get cut. The Vlad Grid's getting cut. That's way too expensive. Malapur better than Vlad. Yeah, for sure. Okay, barriers, end the run, 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 end the run. This seems nice. Too many code gates. Thimblerig, Mouse, Magnet, Gatekeeper, Fairchild 3, Enigma, Afshar. I think the Thimblerig probably is the worst one here. Attitude is better than Sprint here. It's just agenda fix plus econ. It's not as good because we have no 3-pointers besides the food. And I think Sprint is just like kind of good. So I'm not sure, Thanos. I think that's a good point. That maybe it's good. Tranquility is really good, Izzy. That's a good inclusion. We haven't looked at upgrades just because we got overwhelmed. But yeah, we probably should keep going. Hey, Cror. Ampere building? Yeah, totally. How's it going? Hey, Alec, how's it going as well? Okay. 55 cards. So we could just add one more agenda basically and cut 2 cards and call it a day, but we're going to try to do a bit better. Yeah, Jenny, we'll see the opening hand. I think the opening hand's not going to be bad. We just need to pare down a couple cards. So I think we'll cut out the Tithe is honestly fine. I'll cut out a Sapper. Okay. We're down to 54. Only 5 cards have to go. There's a big chance that the Gaslight is actually not good. Cause like, it's not like a deck where we need a certain card for a certain situation. With the Gaslight, it'll just be like pull Biotic every single time. I'd cut Turnpike over Sapper. Turnpike is like low-key busted. Like low-key busted. This card is way too taxing for 2 credits. Maryland's not bad. I don't think Maryland is a bad choice. We just can't protect to ice it up much. You have 0 tag punishment? They have resources. They also don't know that, but they have resources. Like resources is tag punishment. Like literally too many cards. Let's see what it draws like to see like what we get. Okay, opening hand. Seems like a good draft deck. We'd keep that. Maryland's better than Regolith. No, Regolith is like burst money and we can use it the turn it's installed and it gets out of a remote server. This is fine. Implied tag punishment costs so many fewer claws than real tag punishment. All right, we sprint here. We have the Zato City Grid, which is actually, we cut the Zato City Grid, don't we? Yeah, probably. Maybe. At that hand, we'd cut it. Are we going to set up more than 1 ice remote? No. We should only set 1 ice remote. I think fully op with a single iced remote is not bad, but it's probably worse. Ampere's gonna feel like draft every time. Yeah, it is. It's gonna feel like goofy draft. I think you're right that Ampere, the fully op is like probably one of the worst cards. If we have one ice remote, this is gain 3 credits or gain a credit and draw a card. Yeah, okay. Maryland is money made for this deck. I do not believe in Maryland. We can't ice it up. All right, this hand is great. This is really good. Nana Civic, yeah, okay, it's going. We just keep doing this until we get a deck. This is a good hand, right? Zato City Grid probably gets cut. It's like way too cute for how our deck is. Like we cannot afford to discard ice. All our ice is really good. It's not like we have IP blocks or op, so that's probably gonna go. This opening hand just looks like an HB deck barring the government subsidy, right? Like this is just an HB opening hand. So we could keep this. We could do Tranquility. We could Fairchild it. We can play Hedge Fund. Honestly, obviously HQ is really open, but you be cool about it. Don't be a narc. And then you install Luminal in the remote. Maybe you draw a card, gain 2 credits. You ice up HQ, you hopefully government subsidy in 3 turns. Okay, we got a bit of agenda flooded there, but that's good. This is a good hand. Economy is a problem. Why do we need to ice it? It self-recurs. Maryland? Because they can trash it? I don't know. I mean, what's the chance a Highlander runner on the other side opens with doof? That's the thing that like playing against a Highlander runner, I think is much more terrifying because you have to watch out. Like you have to ice up HQ as if it's a doof. If the runner is Highlander. This hand is fine, right? This hand is actually quite good. Maybe we have too much ice in this deck. We have 16. So here we like just get a Regenesis behind a Naket. We could ice up a Central with Tithe and then hope probably they pinhole threading us or something. Maybe we get the border control early to get on the remote server. Then like we empty the Regolith. Maybe we can Hansei around 1 bad ice, but this is actually pretty good. I think Acid Spam Ampere, like you're going to struggle for a win condition because it's kind of hard to do that. But I think it's totally doable. Okay. This is doable too. Uncell 1.0 actually might be less good than some other options just because it's a bit situational. Do you not believe the neutral runner isn't also Highlander? I think there's a big chance it's Highlander. It's obviously not been proven. I think Doof isn't that great since there's no consistency in the econ denial. I think you still play it, specifically if your tournament is going to be Ampere versus whatever the neutral runner, if they are comparable, just because the economy of this deck seems pretty fragile. So I think you want to do the Doof, but I don't think Doof on every board state is pretty good. All right, so this is meant to be the 2-1 that does something from archives. So we'd keep this hand. We would set up Tranquility. We could just do like Eula, Rashida, click for a credit. If they go through the Eula, they probably don't. So we get Rashida, we get a mandatory draw. Like this seems good. We have to cut 2 cards, but I'm saying that this deck, while it's obviously not the best thing you can play in standard, probably plays a game. It probably plays a game in Netrunner because you notice every opening hand has powerful cards in it. Like there's no opening hand where it's just nonsense because we don't have to play nonsense. Like we are literally just playing all the best cards we can. The worst hands are the ones like these where we don't have a lot of agenda control. Maybe that's why we want to put an attitude adjustment in it because we just don't have, like we can't control agendas that well, but that's it. Cut ice is your worst card type. I do think there's a big chance that we have too much ice. I do value having ice just because I feel like we might have to rush our first couple points. I don't think the runner is also Highlander, but I also have no clue what it is. Definitely another deck building ability too. Yeah, I'm assuming it's the deck building ability, not because it has infinite influence, right? You only need 14. 14 for a 49 is pretty low, Kevin. I wouldn't be comfortable playing 14. I don't think I would. I would want to play at least 15. Yeah, like these hands are good. Like these are all fine hands. I think red level clearance is a very cuttable card. We do have combos with it. Well, we do have things to do. But yeah, look, we built this in like 10 minutes and it seems fine. 14 is okay for FA, but we're not consistent in FA, right? Like while we have exact access to fast events, how much fast events do we really have? Right? Like we have Anoetic, we have Malapert, we Manigarm, like Anoetic and Manigarm, like we are building a remote server. Maybe we should also have Zato. Probably should, just to get another win condition. But like a real fast events in the deck, we have 1 Audacity, 1 Biotic, 1 Sansan. So I wouldn't say we're a fast events deck that's running like triple Biotic, double Audacity. Like we do have to build a remote server. Drop Tithe. Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty easy cut. That's probably the worst dice in our deck. But I do think we might be under evaluating. Like if we just have ice on a remote server, we are going to need defensive upgrades. So maybe we do need the Zato or the Nana Civic in there as well. Yeah. Hey Jester, if it was a Mirror of the Corp, I feel like they would preview them together. Yeah, but I think they don't want to preview them together because it came with a narrative article, right? Wanza for HQ? No. I do think there's a chance that we drop on sell. Only 3 sentries feels really bad. And that we play instead Hagen. Money? Yeah, but also we lose. Drop celebrity gift, call it a day. Honestly, yeah. That's the easiest card for me to cut in any deck. Like, this is fine. This is probably a fine deck. Can we play it legally right now? 78 influence is a bit short of infinity, but well, we got there. Like this opening hand, border control remote, Rashida hedge fund. All right, we get the Rashida somehow. Oh, we lose off-world office off the top of R&D classic. All right, so we got to see here what happens when you simulation reset. So trash up to 5 cards from HQ. So we trash that. We get rid of our Beal. This. I just want to see what happens if we trash 5. Then we shuffle them in and draw 5. So it actually wouldn't be this, but like that seems like a good card. Just play it and see what happens. Is someone okay to play against this? Amper. We can't. We actually have no new cards in this. We like straight up cut every single card that is from the new set. Isn't that wild? And I think a big part of that is just all the cards are not on the new set. This House of Knives is meant to be a new card. Oh, we have Simulation Reset. No, that's true. We were just looking at one of them that isn't. And Gaslight. No, it's not exactly true. But like we are not incorporating the new cards because we haven't seen all of them. And they're not on their NDB. So this list obviously looks different tomorrow. But yeah, we have a couple. How's it going, Mr. Sticks? As many options as they are, my Impure deck looks just like this. Yeah, you played the good cards, I see. Does anybody want to play against this on JNet? Or playing casual, I guess? The ID doesn't work if the builds seem to whittle down to the same thing, just the good cards. Let's do it. Yo, Izzy. Okay, I'm in. I think so, but I also think that there's a lot of deck building options. Like you can do assets, you can do different agenda suites. So there's a lot you can do. I do think this is one way to do it. That's probably the easiest, where it's just like good cards go. We'll just see how inconsistent it is. New corp deck. I'm gonna do casual because I reckon. What's the name of the ID? The Syndicate? Syndicate? Can we do neutral ID here? I don't know about a kill build. I feel like that would be inconsistent. I guess we'll do Cyber Bureau. Oops, all Jinteki cards. Like you can do that. You can play a whole deck of Jinteki cards, I reckon, and just like play neutral IDs. You don't see the drop down menu, but I'm struggling to find the Syndicate. Oh, it's here. It is the Syndicate. Thank you. All right. What has it seen sim reset as? Oh, that's a good question. It seems to have 49 cards, so I think it actually has simulation reset. Like it did not goof it. Oh, you're right. Simulation reset isn't here. But then why is it 49 cards? Do we have too many cards? Give me 1 second. It noticed Gaslight. Did it take Gaslight in there? It also noticed Gaslight. Okay, so we have to change some of these. Why is it 49 cards though? Are we over? I don't understand how it did that. Simone Diego? Wait. Oh, wait. It actually got cards that were close in name? Hold on. So Simone Diego is meant to be simulation reset. So we obviously cut that, and there should be one more in there. So simulation reset is a 1 cost. So we're just going to play a psychokinesis. That probably costs 1. Gaslight is under unknown. Unknown Gaslight. Okay. Gaslight is going to be, what's it called? It costs more to trash. We want to get a 2 cost NBN card. What's the 2 cost NBN card that costs 0 to res? It's another Spin Doctor, but no, if we res Spin Doctor, it ruins it. Yeah, Izzy, we'll do the new cards manually for sure. I just need to find a Sensi. Does that cost 2? It's been so long since we've seen a Sensi. Oh, perfect. Well done. Tech startup cost 1 to trash, I think. Amper. Okay. Ça va. Ça va. All right, Izzy, I'm gonna host. You want to just jump in? Boof. One of these. Hold on. There. Okay. Corp, casual. Please don't get sniped. Please don't get sniped. Nice. Okay, we've done it. Ah, all right. Let's do it. Ampere. It's gonna be fun. I don't know what Izzy's playing. Okay, Izzy's playing Nat. I'm assuming this is just a Nat deck. This might be the Nat deck that we played against before. Thank you. You too. Which is like a really good deck. It's the one that Sako is playing, and it just has good economy. Our opening hand, honestly, it could be better, could be worse. Maybe the idea ability should have also included you can also play rotating band cards. Ooh, that'd be something. Borealismus Eve, Wendigon, how's it going? So opening hand, we have no economy besides the Tranquility, which could stick, but we're like pretty ugly away from the government subsidy. This is one of the cards that we actually have to plan around, funny enough. Eula is like, I don't know if Nat's going to be playing like Chisel, I doubt it, or Cleaver, I doubt it as well. You generally want to play Bin Breakers, so this is a good ice. Yeah, this is fake Ampere. Yeah, Wendigon. I'm going to mulligan this. Great, that's a Gaslight. SSL Vashron Astro Script. Oh, you can do better than that. All right, this is a hand. This seems good. Okay, so Hedge Fund's good. Spin Doctor is a Spin Doctor. This is our one proxy. So if we get this, we can top deck. Okay, so what are we doing? We need to ice up R&D sooner than later. I think Gatekeeper going for remote. Drafter on R&D is like just perfect. I do think we could just put the Gaslight out there. That seems kind of bad. So we can probably draw once and then install. Yeah, just get this on R&D. And then I think we're going to use the Gaslight to pull just like either a subsidy if we really need to, or we can pull what's it called? Fast Advance piece. Yeah, SSL will be really good for the deck. Obvious reasons. Steel Skin. Did she mull? She kept. Wow, that's scary. Bravado. So this res drafter is not amazing. It doesn't reinstall something, but allows us to get back our hedge, which is great. Again, playing 2 hedge funds in a single Ampere game is kind of wild. Fake Ampere is my favorite song by The National. I like that album. It's always exciting to see their top decks, right? Whatever top deck's gonna happen. Yeah. Consistency. Hey, Elwin, how's it going? Ampere Eternal? I think Ampere Eternal is like probably can do something busted. The consistency there can be a bit ironed out, but I'm not 100% sure. Ooh, Laundry, that's aggressive. It's a hedge fund. Why no install from HQ? Oh, wait a second. Forgot I could install a card. Do you mind? I totally forgot. Yeah. I totally forgot. I thought it was only for archives. I just glanced over that. That's I can just do it manually. Twitch chat trying on the backseat challenge. No, that's good. Like we need all our help. We need to make this look good. So I'm just gonna get a click, and I'm just gonna. In theory, we could have put that out, but like I reckon she would have ran it. So we're just gonna do remote. Okay. Cool. All right. Good. Okay. Predict a planogram. Infinite economy. So we can do the Gaslight out. It's a Gatekeeper, which is pretty good. She's access to no breakers. I don't think she's playing Singleton. We have a double ice seamless remote. We have a drafter. I don't think she's going to tank the drafter that much. But planogram we might need to do for card draw. This is a Gaslight. And if we do Gaslight, we could get Biotic. Yeah. She might want to run it. Not this. She won't run this server. They can use clicks though. Wait, sorry? It's raining buckets tonight, staying in and ordering dinner. What are you ordering? That sounds not too bad. Okay, here I think we're going to build a remote server. We're hoping that this drafter will hold off, and then we have like a pretty reasonable remote server and we can barely afford it. If we installed the Gaslight, I think she would run it, but I don't think she runs the Gatekeeper. You would have expected the Gaslight? No. I don't want to put the Gaslight out because I do think she would have ran it. And I think we can get the Gaslight protected here. Or even if it eats a pinhole, I think we're happy with that. Searching your whole deck for an operation is going to be mentally taxing when you have like 10 different operations that are singletons. There's a Gachapon. Okay, so we'll res the Gaslight. So start a turn. Oh, it was before mandatory draw. So that's obviously not right. We should have done that before. So we can show. So imagine we don't have that card. We don't know what that card is. We didn't see that. And we can pull an operation to our hand. Seems like a really powerful card. So we could pull the Biotic Labor, which is a win condition. I think getting the government subsidy might be nice because then we can credit, install, play it. And I think that's fine. I'm wondering how long we can hold on. I think we do that. I do think we just take it because it's the one big economy card we have. Thematically appropriate. Gaslight's the card we're proxying. If you lose Spin Doctor, it would feel so bad. It would feel kind of bad. We don't have a lot of like archives recursion. But ideally the Spin Doctor draws into something. All right. RLC install Spin Doctor. I don't think that's worth it. I think we need money. Like once we res this for 9 credits, we're going to have nothing. Like we need to establish our economy. This card has always been Gaslight. All right. Izzy's on an immense amount of credits and she's not played like a guinea pig yet, but we haven't seen any breakers. Gachapon easily could be that. And once she gets an MK Ultra out, I'm worried. I think this deck is on twinning, if I'm not mistaken. It's like a very aggressive twinning lock. Seamless from HQ, so that makes her a bit scared of this remote server. Safety first Keiko. There's the guinea pig. I don't think we have a reason to res this to start a turn. All right, cool. So this is safety first. So just free card draw. You should tell them the subsidy is what you pulled. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Do you have to reveal with Gaslight? I'm actually not sure. Oh my, Kingdom for an econ card, huh? So we can mass draw next turn. So I do think we need to ice this thing up. We're gonna lose to twinning at some point, but our HQ is actually pretty clean, which is good. So we'll do R&D. We'll boot this on the remote server, or server 1, excuse me. And then I think we'll just extract for credits. I don't think we have to trash anything. We could trash the Spin Doctor, but I reckon we want to get these cards back in the bin. It's a conditional search. Oh yeah, because it's an operation. Yeah, of course you'd have to show. Yeah, that counts. Gaslight came out last circle. Gaslight's rotating. It's from Ashes. Don't you remember? Yeah, it sucks. It was really good and started for a while. Daily Cast gain 2, Nat gaining 1. Again, if Nat has fewer than 2 cards. And you get free card draw with safety first. So you want to stay low. It's kind of like a Spirocytes that lasts forever. Steel Skin to draw. Again, no breakers just yet. Actually, sorry, an MK Ultra. So this one's actually really hard for them to deal with. We're assuming there's going to be hippos. Really glad that Gaslight got unbanned after so long. How's it going, Abelian? 2 clicks, 22 credits. Like, we're struggling to draw agendas. We do have mass draw, so like no matter what, next turn we're going to put something in the remote server. And with 15 credits, like we can res all of it. And this is the hard one to deal with. Is ooh, Black Orchestra, cracking the Gachapon, Paperclip, access to another safety first and daily cast. So it's gonna be one of the breakers. That's the only option here. Paperclip, we only have 1 ice, and it scales well into Paperclip. Going for the Paperclip. So the Black Orchestras, we'll see if any are RFG'd, because that limits Nat's options. I wonder if you can play safety first in Padma with the Hensai Cybernetic to slowly draw your whole deck. Yeah, you probably could. I think low hand size is like a bit difficult. And there's the twinning. Okay. So we need to hit an above the law to trash this. Yeah, I think playing low hand size is a bit hard, but yeah, safety first on its own for 3 influence, it's like, it's kind of a lot. I do think Shaper card draw is like actually reasonable right now. All right, we're drawing. Oh, we did find the above the law. Hold on, if that actually connects. All right, so we want to get back, I think, the hedge fund for sure. And probably the extract. I think it's just totally playable. This is a pretty fast setup. It's turn 5, so like it's still really good. But she's gone through 20 cards per deck. 3 hedge funds? That's the dream. All right, so this is Magnet. She has access to only 1 breaker. She has to get through a Magnet and an Ancel and a Gatekeeper. That's really hard. So we can consider here the dream. We can consider clicking for a credit here. We can also just ice up HQ. The Aked is like kind of nice because if she hits it, well, she'll break it for 2. Actually, that's pretty bad. I think we should click for credit here. But the 20 is getting charged twice as fast because of the multi-threader. So that's something that we definitely want to shoot down with above the law. Will we seamless it? Yeah, maybe. If we top deck an agenda, we definitely will. But yeah, now it's already going to see a couple cards off of R&D. And luckily the mouseless is just kind of hard to deal with. And while we talked about not having tag punishment, this is exactly what I mean. Like we just have, like people have assets. Or sorry, resources. If we go this, we go down to 12. We can res 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We only need 2 to score out. Yeah, we can do this. We get the credit back from this. I don't know if Izzy's going to fork us on both servers because the tag here is going to be pretty obnoxious. Fire all. We trashed a leech. Okay. But she can lock the top 3 here. Yeah, Seamless for value is like totally fine with this deck because we have almost no 4-2s. I don't think we have any 4-2s besides 1 off-world office. But this is 5 credits. Again, multi-threader makes it a lot cheaper, but now she's going to hammer an R&D. And like the mouseless here is kind of the best we can ask for. It's one of the most taxing pieces of ices for the Anarch Breaker Suite. And she's going to keep 1 credit on the multi-threader. And that's done so that she could boost on our turn if she really wanted to. Looks like she's going to go for the value up front. And she can see 3 here. Pretty terrifying. Whoa, okay. So we know we're not drawing into it, but also so she's not either. So now we can pull down the twinning and buy ourselves a window. This is actually the second safety first too, so we could like trash her draw engine. There's a chance that we could slow roll this above the law until like she's thrown out the other twinning, but I don't know if she'll do that. It's an enigma. I don't know. Actually, maybe I think we do triple advance this thing. I think I seamless it, I mean. Boom, got him. Okay, and now here, how do we score out? Like maybe we want to play more 1-2s. I think we cut a bunch of 1-2s from the deck. But at that point, like we have an Audacity for our next points. We know the next 2 cards in R&D ain't it. And we don't want to get free runs on central servers. Like maybe putting the Enigma on HQ is just good enough. An Afshar would be really sick, but obviously we have the hand we have. This makes her think maybe we have something in there. All right, and she's back down to singles. I wonder if I added the second twinning. I think you, ooh. Oh, the deck actually might be on a single twinning, which puts her at no multi-access whatsoever. 0. Gonna start cranking through the deck. I think most of the Anarch cards we saw were all events, barring like 1 or 2. I think we've seen a program. I think we've seen a resource that's actually very fascinating. But I think the events are like quite good. And even like the basic recursion event, if you're playing like a Ghost Tongue package, seems really reasonable. Guinea Pig, Steel Skin Scarring Drawing, 18 credits. She's back in it. She's seen this card. It's an extract. If we draw once, it's 1 unknown, and the top of R&D is, oh, sorry, it's 1 more known. The top of R&D is now entirely unknown. We could break lock with this, but I think we want to break lock to be able to Audacity out. So I think we're just going to click for credits and probably wipe our hand. If we wipe our hand, I think we do want to ice up Archives. I think we know that she's on Fermenter. Or not Fermenter, sorry, Leech. So icing up Archives is like fine. No, we could actually trash the Enigma for more credits. It's probably not the worst. Yeah, it's a shame we'll probably lose this hand. Is that better than clicking for a credit? Icing up our Archives, how important is it? I think she might have a copy of that like run Archives CL2 servers. So I think we will put something here on Archives. Katorga is going to be a beast. That's the recursion one, right? I'm excited for Raindrops, Cutstone, Anarch Bravado. It's like a really weird card, and it works really well with Bankar. But we'll see how powerful it is. All right, we're running HQ. Unfortunately, our Enigma here made that run really good. So maybe with all these Bravados, we shouldn't have iced HQ. Now, if we don't boost, if we boost here, does she actually have a decoder? No, this will take a click and a credit. Yeah, we'll res. Yeah, Divide and Conquer. I think this deck is on a Divide and Conquer. I might be wrong. The fact that the deck has lasted this long is a success. I don't honestly think it's that bad of a deck. Like, it's obviously unpolished. We just need like an Anoetic or something here. Obviously, our money is going to get a bit tight. I think we have a couple too few money cards, like maybe just a Maryland, maybe just Launch Campaign, like things to, like if they know that we're on a 3-2 deck, just being able to put something in the remote server every single turn is probably one of the best things we can do. Now with the Mana Garm in the remote, I don't think we want to Audacity this hand. So I think we just install credit. It's just not very good. Above the Law was a huge find. It was a really good find. We also could have done it with Tomorrow's Headline, mind you. So there was only 2 cards that did us that, but yeah, got a bit lucky. Losing the 1 food is a bit bad too, because now we have to score out a bunch of agendas. I think we just credit here and hope that she pushes this. Remember, we did get a second hedge fund. Yeah. Yeah, I think our economy is not good enough, but we've been lucky. I do think we might need to play a bit, like maybe pop-ups, maybe Tithe, I don't know. But I do think some more economy would be fine. We did cut some more economy from the deck. Only 14 cards left, 15 cards. Grip size of 3. Did she take core down? Oh yeah, safety first, right? DRM could be good. Pick the most relevant agenda. Yeah, DRM is like not bad. The problem is like DRM, you can't fast advance. There's Poimo. There's Bass. I think we just put Bass on the table and then like we hopefully draw with red level. Like this doesn't seem fun. I recall the pop-up getting cut early because economy is good. For what it's worth, if we had a pop-up, it wouldn't change much. It's not like she's running. Oh, she has a second twinning. Okay, never mind. That's going to change really quickly. But yeah, it wouldn't do much, but it's technically economy. All right, so there's the second one. Hate to see it. In startup, you get archive memories. Yeah, I do think the deck is going to be a lot worse in startup. Startup rotation is going to be wild. There's going to be an entire gang of Ampere Theory Crafters. There already is. You're looking at them. I think Ampere is totally fine. I don't think it's going to be competitive. I think it's really good and fun. All right, daily cast. Is she not going to run? Twinning to C3 seems good. I just don't know how she deals with this mouse list. Like there's no hippos, I don't think. We would have probably seen a hippo by now. Not that it isn't expensive to break a mouse list fully. On 4 strength with Ice Garber, it's actually kind of reasonable. She doesn't have a decoder yet. We saw 2, I think, off of what's it called? Off of Gachapon, and 1's removed from game. So I think there's 1 more within these 9 cards for sure. Isn't every deck worse in startup? No. There's good startup decks for sure. I wonder what faction actually like benefits the most from startup. Okay, top deck and agenda. Tomorrow's headline. Hold on. So we could Bass, install to tomorrow's headline, Audacity tomorrow's headline to trash the twinning. There is no way that that's not the right play. Oh, hold on. That's not right. You definitely just play this. Yeah, just leaving money on the table. Oh, I'm sorry. Did we manage to trash 2 twinnings? Oh, it's a shame we have no tag punishment. You can't have that one. I lose to that one. Oh man, Bilby, how's it going? Yeah, we lose to that one. She has to win off single axes. Admittedly, now HQ pressure is a bit rough. If we can get something into a Managarm Gatekeep server, like I think we have a chance, at least for a narrow window. The problem is like we still have to score out a bunch of 1-pointers. I think we cut most of the 1-pointers in the deck. The deck is meant to have one Jinteki 1-pointer and we cut it. The NBN 1-pointer is actually probably fine too. We could consider playing that. One end of the line, GG easy. Yeah, honestly, it would have worked there, huh? I just don't believe in the tag punishment. Oh, Taka's down. Running's going to get really cheap. Luckily, we have some of the best dice, and then we literally have the best dice in the entire format. So I'm hoping that we can deal with like the Paladin Puemo, Trickster Taka, double multi-threader Doom Rig. Yeah, the Audacity, yeah, we can't actually end the line, but seems good. 6 cards left. It looks like the Black Orchestra is in the bottom there. Oh man, yeah, that's why you score Vitruvius with the counter. All right, 2 decoders down there. Oh, clearing the tag. Yeah, that tracks. Yeah, you have something hanging in the play area. All right, so now we're in top deck mode. 3 hedge funds? You kidding me? 3 hedge funds. Draw. 3 hedge funds. Is it the right play or do we ice up R&D? This is 3 credits for them to break. That's good. Like they have good money, but like she's going to run out of money. I do think After on R&D is the right play. But literally 3 hedge funds and we're not snapping playing it. The hype hitting the 3rd copy of a card is real. Yeah, it's wild. We got our 1 spin doctor. We haven't played Bird Barbecue. I will get the name at some point, I'm pretty sure. But like it's doing its thing. We hold the hedge for max psychic damage later. She's going to access it and be very confused why we're not playing it. Okay, there it is. She has the Doom Rig. She has 5 recurring credits every turn to break stuff. Technically 6 credits because of Keiko. But it's all single accesses here. Single accesses. So she can camp the remote server. Luckily, we have never advanced. So hopefully this is where we draw into all the things that we don't have in the deck, like Maryland. And, you know, just absolutely get... Like, just keep jamming the remote server. We have Anoetic. Like, we can just get some board states which she cannot deal with. And these are 2 recurring credits for programs. All right, hit my hedge fund. That's cheating. Just draw the GFI. Yeah, I wish. Slowest fast advance? Yeah, but we're also Glacier. Like, we don't have that much fast advance. I honestly don't know if we can do Anoetic in the remote server because it's going to cost us our hedge fund. Rudder ID hasn't spoiled yet. I do think we just draw once, or I'd have played it. Respect. So I don't know what to do here because we probably need a hedge fund before we push in the remote server. Because if we can't res like the end cell plus the gatekeeper plus something else, now this end cell is only 3 strength, so they break it for 6 or 3 in a click, so it's not amazing. This being 5 strength is actually quite good. She has to boost twice, so that's 6 plus that, but she has 28 credits. Yeah, Beal's a way out. Beal's a nice card for the deck because of that. But yeah, I honestly don't know, and we're stalling way too long here. I think I'm gonna draw once. Yeah, we just probably play the hedge fund here, and then she might run HQ once. I think she runs HQ once here. Hopefully she steals only one of these. Hedge install void. I don't love that because then we have to start spending resources to protect the defensive upgrades. Like ideally we do that at the same turn we score out. It's kind of hard. And the thing is, like, Anoetic is no good when we have 2 cards. We have like the agenda only in hand. I feel like we have to red the Afshar. We're gonna lose off centrals. So while this card is 0 strength, it's going to be 3 for her to break. So this does add up. Alex can really help us close the game. If we can get a counter on it, we're probably good to go. Yeah, if we get a counter on it, like we pull our 1-2 and we win. It's still kind of hard. Yeah. It's all good. No, it's all good. It's broke. Yeah, so she broke it on the approach. She spent the same amount of money. It's all good. Yeah, the counter's good here. And again, we could play more 1-2s if we want to. We didn't really consider what we need to score out. Scoring out all these 3-2s is kind of ugly, especially because we have very limited recursion. Maybe we need to put more recursion for a fast advance. But Mouseless is now 4 strength. So she boosts once, she breaks 2 of the subroutines. So it's probably 3 credits and we gain 1. I think Hedge IA next turn is a better line. Yeah. Yeah, you may be right because we don't need the hedge here. Correspond. That's good. You want to break all? I think we should just undo this. I think it's goofed. Yeah, she doesn't have to break all. She can give us a credit. Yeah, I think it's beyond repair. Let's just undo this click. Cool. Top deck biotic would help. It's scoring on this Atlas with the biotic is really difficult because then she can probably lock the top of the deck. And we probably don't lose, or probably don't win to that. Immediately, like, we don't have Obokata in the deck, but Obokata would be kind of safe here. We also don't have a snare, and I kind of want to play snare in the deck. I think I want to see a hardware that interfaces for free with 0 strength ice and buff strength reduction playstyles. As much as strength reduction like kind of is a thing, we've saw more strength increase playstyle support in Parhelion, right? Like we've seen way more ways to bring breakers up than to bring strength down. And I kind of like that. That seems like technically less, obviously if ice destruction is about ice strength, and ice strength technically is meant to be a detriment to certain ice. Yeah, this didn't seem that taxing to her. Arbeal, that's how we win. We're still probably going to lose. Let's make that obvious. We don't have that many unfair top decks to win. And with 28 credits, like I don't think the Managarm does anything. Oh, man. So many good cards. So many good cards. Smash Brothers Beal. How do we win here? Like we could... She hasn't checked archives. We did discard some cards. Like Luminal Anoetic? Draw? I think it's install Luminal, install Anoetic. I think we draw install Luminal Anoetic. Yeah. I think that's better than an Alice with a counter. I haven't done any math. I feel like this is probably not attainable. I don't know if we can afford this because like this is 2 credits and then this is 2 more credits. That puts us down to 6, which means we can install the Ancel and go down to 0. But I think she can tank this. Yeah, this seems probably pretty bad. I think we lose here. What are we rezzing? The Ancel is 3 strength. So she breaks it for 6 credits. Yeah, it's probably Gatekeeper. Bait the run with Malapur. Baiting the run with Malapur would be good, but then we lose our defensives and then we don't have a nice server. The Malapur bait is like totally reasonable, but like it doesn't use any resources. Like we just cannot tax her out. Like she can run twice a turn for free. Now the Gatekeeper's res, it's even harder. I don't know. If we do the Malapur, we wouldn't have done the Anoetic. I think that would have been good if we just did Malapur and Managarm. Yeah, I think that'd be fine. But this is not that taxing. Toxic Oboe. Yeah, Oboe would have been winning. Like we don't have Oboe, obviously, but I don't know the order, so I'm just gonna res these now. Yeah, that's right. Standard classic. So do the Managarm first. 34 credits. Yeah, that's kind of the issue. The economy of this deck is immense, and like we weren't jamming in remote server fast enough that she had to check. So like this is just going to be a speed bump in Izzy's economy. The good thing, obviously, is she doesn't have multi-access, but like this deck does one thing and one thing only, and which is like free running. Pay 2 credits and trash 2 cards. Yeah, okay. Can't afford these. Come back. What a great deck. Yeah, this is a deck I'm pretty sure that I'm not refuting that Izzy's cool, but that Sokka put together on his stream. It's on NetRunDB if you search. I think it'd probably be one of the last net decked. It's super rough to figure out lines in Singleton Corp. You only get one shot. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like we can't jam more stuff in here. But like we cut other things like Zato and Nana Civic, and Zato actually would be like reasonable. Zato and Nana Civic is another win condition against this sort of Doom rig. Which again, I don't know if you have to always build against this Doom rig, but you know what I mean? All right. Izzy's thinking. Now, we can't spend more credits on the Mana Garm because then we can't afford the Luminal. We only have 2 cards in HQ here, so if Izzy can get server 1 and then run HQ for a 50-50, she wins. Also, there's 4 cards in archives. 2 of them from Audacity, 2 of them from this turn. So like, there's a lot of lines where Izzy wins this turn. We're gonna see an Overclock. What is this? Bravado? Oh, daily cast. Ooh. Oh, don't mind if I do. Oh, excuse me. I'm just gonna get 3 more clicks back. Gain 3. We can't afford to install here. I think we install the Tranquility. I think we do credit, install Tranquility, credit. Game's afoot. Zato seems expensive. It is expensive, but like at the end of the game, where like even a Corporate Troubleshooter, I think is a certain card that we could actually appreciate in this deck. It's like once you get the game point, how do you win? Because so much of our deck is either fast advance from hand or score on remote server. And Zato is only one of the few ways to score on remote server. The game way 1 points look so good in the score area together. They do. Excuse to break out all those foils. All right, she's going in. This is going to be expensive. Did you manage to keep any 2-1? Solomir, we have only Elvagao. We have a proxy for the 3-1. So technically we have 2 of them. The release. The Jinteki one. Slumscast. Something. What is this? Oh, Tranquility. Yeah, sick. I'm very low on Zato. I want my eyes to generate repeatable value. Yeah, but it's the last turn of the game, no? If you're Bossel, it is repeatable value. Mana Garm first. 2 clicks or 5 credits? 2 clicks is 5 credits. Probably doesn't matter with 35. No. I hate rarities in card games, but I love foils. I'm exactly with you there. It's like so cool to see Netrunner foils as much as I'm not a rarities guy. But it's nice to see nice shiny cards. Shiny card is fun. I wonder if this is going to be a read that there's something in HQ that we didn't trash there. But I think it's a bigger deal that we can't afford to pay 2 credits on this board state. So top deck 2-1 win. It's that easy. Credit. Top deck 2-1 win. Oh, no, not that agenda. Anything but that agenda. That is the opposite. That's the biggest agenda in the deck besides the off-world. Draw. Hold the phone. Can we get 7 credits? Draw. Oh, this is how we lose. I like rarity, but as a limited player, yeah. In those contexts, it's kind of fun. Uh-oh. Should have just taken credits? Yeah, maybe. There's no way that she's not going to run HQ. It's like straight up free. Deuce is wild. She knows there's on sale. Checking archives. We don't res the Uckhead here. It costs her nothing. 4 cards in archives. She sees all the ice we cannot afford to res. Economy is definitely a problem in this deck. We need to spend more slots in econ. There's nothing worth drawing for with only 2 credits. Yeah, you're right there. There's nothing worth drawing. If anything, we're trying to bury the agendas. So we could top deck a planogram, no. We could top deck an extract, no. So we don't have a lot of money on low credits. We have actually nothing. We can't play Celebrity Gift with this hand. Not taking credit for last click, it's going to delay our Biotic 1 turn. Yeah. If we actually click 3, we could have won there. That one's clean. Yeah, you're totally right. Oh, NGO is possible, yeah. Rashid is possible, but like she's seeing the top of the deck. But yeah, the fact that we can't start our turn on 7 in the next turn is a problem. I think we put the Malapert in their most for next turn, click 2. Maybe she gives us a credit here, but I think she can afford to deal with the mouse list properly. Oh, wow. Oh, and then she can die to snare now. I don't know if you give us 4 credits there. HQ seems very safe. It's literally free. Yeah, we just jam in remote while click. Oh, that was our 2-1. Oh no! If only we drew once more. Yeah, now we lose to any single access of HQ, so that's bad. Yeah, that's meant to be our 2-1. Which is not good. It's a blank 2-1. Because it cares about face down cards and archives. Okay, we lose here 60% of the time. We got close though. It's not over, but we did get close. Ah, shit. Good game. Nearly had it. Had 3 2-pointers in hand. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely could have played that differently. Like, that wasn't the worst showing. Obviously, 117 credits, 113 spent to 68 feels a bit bad. But yeah, we just got a bit short on cash there. And I do think that's something we just need to put a couple more economy cards in the deck. But like, totally reasonable. We had if we survived another turn, Psychokinesis is our replace our hand card. You know what we would have done with Psychokinesis? We would have shuffled all our economy back into our deck with one agenda and drawn a new hand. Like, our hand would have so improved. The next card was the Bird Barbecue. Oh, Forex hedge fund. Yeah, had the best agendas for the twinning, which I 100% will lose to. Yeah, but for real, like the Psychokinesis play, which is meant to be, again, keep forgetting the name of the card, would have been really good. We could discard our whole hand besides Biotic and then draw a new hand. Yeah, simulation reset. Thank you. Hey Mod, it's good to hear you on the what's it called today on the daily cast. Yeah, if we couldn't deal with the turning wheel, or sorry, the twinning, we would have lost so quickly. So I'm glad that we could do that. Yeah, there'll definitely be Jenny commander tournaments. I think we're gonna do one here. I know Jeff wants to do some as well, but really, really fun. You can also play the biggest deck you can build in the format, which is like 300 cards plus 319 cards. So that'll be terrible. I did my math wrong because of Ice Carver. The R&D run was much less taxing than I thought. Yeah, I don't think any ice taxes you besides on and counter. Thank you. Glad you enjoyed. Yeah, of course. Please notify. Yeah, we'll notify. We'll post about it also on the Patreon, I reckon. Yeah, so this is like a sort of doom rig where like nobody really plays multi-threader, but there's just nothing this deck doesn't break for pennies. Like, we didn't res any single barriers, but yeah, that's 5 credits, recurring credits, 6 recurring credits every turn. And if the runs are, you know, see 2 cards at the top of R&D every turn, you just lose to this. If you got Yule on R&D, it still doesn't matter. Like, Izzy has 24 extra credits. It's not going to matter much. And that would be a bigger cost to us. Like, getting a Yule on R&D is, at this board state, obviously different than earlier, but the mouseless was the best thing we could get for you. Yeah. Hopefully tomorrow. Thanks, you too. All right. Obviously, we didn't take a win there, but I think we learned a lot. And you kind of see the basics there is that we have windows. They're a bit narrow and you have to play them precisely, but just having enough ice in the deck. And I think some of the ice was probably maybe a bit too expensive for what we wanted to do. That we can maybe lower the curve, not play Fairchild 3, not play on cell. Maybe we do need to have some bigger stuff, not Eula. Play a bit more defensive upgrades, play a bit more economy. Maybe we do have to play the Marylands. Maybe we play a Nico and ice it, a launch campaign, but just have more stuff. And specifically with a deck of all the 3/2s, you can just jam in the remote server as much as you want. And I think that's very, very interesting. The bottom part of our deck was, as most parts of our deck, actually quite good. MC austerity policy would be pretty reasonable. The Sanson City Grid is another win condition. We had the Rashida and NGO as our last 2, which you hate to see that, but yeah, seems good. Izzy's too good not to check HQ there. It's a free run. I think you definitely do. Especially after we like mass draw really awkwardly. It gets really ugly. But good game. That's really fun. Yeah, Maryland seems doable. It seems definitely doable. Okay, where were we? We were going through spoilers, right? What time? It's like almost 11. Okay, you're just tuning in, by the way. My name is Andre. How's it going? Again, spoilers season is basically wrapped up. The new set comes out tomorrow, and I will be streaming tomorrow, as long as the set is on JNet at a time that makes sense. So we're hopefully going to stream for a long time and just do like some gameplay focused stuff. We're looking to do a tier list with Jeff again this weekend. I don't know whether we're going to get both sides up, but that'll be happening soon. So we'll talk about evaluation of cards. Otherwise, we want to go through some news right now, I guess. I guess is the news. We didn't play the deck list of the week, but last card was a guinea pig in my hand. That's probably worth playing too. You're about to show us the neutral runner. Yeah, okay. Speedrun Leela Sable build so I can sneak a game in. Yeah, so we have some criminal cards. Hold on. The Leela card is really weird, and I honestly don't know how I feel about it. I don't know the name offhand yet. This thing, right? That's the one, Reprise. Okay, so this is one of the criminal cards that was revealed. I believe this was also on the ShadowNet, which was really fun. It's not only face down cards and you get a run. Yeah, that is kind of disgusting, right? Play only if you stole an agenda this turn, add one installed card, corp card to HQ. So the big conversation about this, if you played Netrunner for a while now, is Leela. And Leela Patel was a very strong criminal identity. For a while, it was a bit slept on, but it was like very, very powerful and had very interesting game plans and very interesting play patterns that were a bit different. How Leela worked is when an agenda was scored or stolen, you could add an unresed card to HQ. So you saw a lot of Leela decks that were either super aggressive, especially in the early game, where you iced up HQ to hope you didn't get diversion of funds or whatever the equivalent was back then. And the runner just ran R&D, stole an agenda, bounced the ice on HQ, and then just hit you with a diversion. And the entire game was shooken on its head, and it was a bit disgusting. A lot of people didn't like playing against Leela because it was super oppressive. Also, if you want to try and install advance an agenda into a remote server, let alone anything in a remote server, good luck. Let alone advancing unresed advanceable ice is an absolute liability. Because a lot of Leela decks would just be like, oh, you installed advance in a remote server. I'm just going to try and steal an agenda by like Maker's eyeing off of R&D. And then seeing enough cards that I can just return the card to hand. And not only did you not score the agenda, you spent a whole turn doing nothing and paying credits. It's so disgusting. I'd say I do it for the challenge, but the truth is it's not that hard. And then this is the modern equivalent. It's a run event. It costs 2, so it's a bit expensive, but you can only play it if you stole an agenda. So it's not stolen or scored. The scored part of Leela is super important too, because it changed entire play patterns. A lot of times you'll see runners or corporations do install advance on a 4-2 and next turn advance to score it with no clicks left. And against Leela, that was a bit of a liability because Leela would return again the ice on HQ, and then you'd be open to HQ or central servers, and it'd be no good. Leela and Gang Sign could be the worst. Yeah, those were 2 really, really good combinations that were very, very difficult to play around. And some people you couldn't. The first time I ran into Leela was in RAM. It's a wild ID. For what it's worth, I actually really like Leela as a teaching ID because it told runners to be aggressive. It also showed them the value of like, it made these like pincers, and it's actually like a very fun ID to play as a newer player because you need to run, you need to get accesses, and when you do, they're like doubly exciting, and then you can like dismantle the board. It was fun. Admittedly, there's high tier Leela play, which involves sometimes not running because you want to keep certain ice de-res, so you have that threat, but I think it was a really fun way to teach people. Hey Pat, how's it going? I wrote the reprise flavor text and came up with the name, I think, and I knew I had to pay tribute. Yeah, of course. So the flavor text here, I may bow like I've accomplished the impossible, but the truth is it's really not that hard. So only if you stole an agenda, add 1 installed corp card to HQ, you may run any server. That is a lot. There have been a couple cards like this in the history of Netrunner, which are cards you have to hold into your hand into very narrow win conditions, or narrow windows, excuse me, in which they're playable. I think I can only think of 2 so far, and one of them is Kraken, which saw almost no play. And Kraken has a bunch of issues. It's the same text, play only if you stole an agenda this turn, but this allows the corp to decide which ice is being trashed. What was really weird to have a neutral ice destruction card, it was very expensive, but the biggest problem here is the corporation would just trash their worst ice, and obviously that's different than this. Another one is Power to the People, which saw absolutely no play, and cards like this are a bit difficult because holding them in hand is kind of like cost a lot. I don't know whether hand size is going to be at a premium in a Parhelion world, but this also saw no play. A click for 7. This one was different because you had to play it first click. It didn't even do something in a lot of turns, but there's a lot of reasons why this didn't see play. So the question is this effect worth playing or worth keeping in your hand for the whole game? I think there are a lot of cards right now in modern Netrunner that people are building whole game plans about holding in their hand because they're that powerful. I think cards like Mad Dash are a really big one there. You also have cards like, Deep Dive, stuff like that you have to hold for the right condition, or Apocalypse, of course. And yeah, it turns out they are worth playing. Whether it's just more incremental or incidental damage happening, it's a bit harder, but this is so much more powerful than Leela, right? Because you can return a card, and that can be a res card. And there's so many cards in Criminal and Netrunner which are D-res cards that see almost no play, and this is D-res plus plus. The idea is if there's like a 10 cost like acid or ice, on the table, you not only do you de-res it by basically returning it to hand and destroying it in some ways, it's also they have to reinstall it for a click. That can open up again. You could just return an agenda to hand that's in a remote server. You can return defensive upgrades. You can return ice on central servers on a remote server. There's so much you can do with this ability, and it's disastrous. Again, returning a 6 cost ice to hand on the right board state after you've got them down to 0 credits is such a wild swing. It's absolutely, absolutely disgusting. Yeah, returning like a border control Shishu, like very mean to op is right. Like there's just so many board states where like this is so hard to play around. And I don't know if this is a very playable card. I think there's a lot of people who are going to see this and like think it's a bit too situational. And I do think the decks that play this have to build decks differently. Like I do think you're going to have to play some amount of things like Maker's Eye or like Hushik, things that can like kind of on demand find agendas when you need to, whether it's just a Stargate list and then you leave agendas in archives. I'm not sure. That seems like a couple too many steps maybe, as opposed to like, just kind of smashing centrals with multi-access at the right time. That could work. We'll see. The Leela art is good too. I like the art. Yeah. Don't want to throw links in chat? Oh, you can if you have a deck. Leela was one of my favorite runners even before she was popular. I like Leela even before she was popular. More like bad dash? No. Deep dive Sable. Deep dive Sable is really hard because it's like hard to have clicks left for this to really matter, right? Like if you deep dived, you probably only have maybe 1 click left, and then you probably better use it on the deep dive, let alone if you're bouncing something, you're not like capitalizing on that. So maybe, but probably not. Maybe this fires midway through a deep dive if you have additional clicks in a turn, but even that's kind of hard. I had a Kraken flashback. Yo, Jim, yeah, you played for a while. You know what's up. Alt art for Leela Patel? Oh, like the original alt art Leela Patel? Yeah, this one's great. Yeah, I have one of these. This one's really good. This is really good. This sort of like, I wouldn't say this is not hyper realistic, but like you're seeing art styles like this a bit more obviously now. We saw a lot of depictions of Sable throughout this whole set, and they're very different. They're from different artists, and I quite like it. It grounds the character, and makes them a bit more, you know, I don't know, believable. Just try to build a neutral runner, how to cut 60 cards somehow. You're in a good spot. I think neutral runner, by the way, if the runner has the same text as the corporation, I think the runner is better. But that shouldn't be a surprise. I have a couple deck boxes. I don't know if I have this on a deck box. I have Leela on a deck box, not this one. Imagine if Shaper got an event that is similar to Haley's ability. I don't think it'll be good enough. They kind of did. I don't know if that would be good enough, but it's cool to see these kind of reborn. Yeah, the Leela deck box. I have those. Not this art though. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's quite good. I think that's potentially a very powerful effect. The question is whether the slots are worth it. And this should have some of the worst blowouts you can have in all of Netrunner. And if people are not expecting it and not playing around it, like it's going to feel even worse when it kind of comes out of nowhere. So I don't know. Really strong ability, just like monstrously strong ability, but on a card that's like really awkward to keep in hand. There's also no way to tutor this on a board state when you need it. There used to be run tutors classically, but kill the borehole. There's so many better ways to kill the borehole, but yeah, you could. What's the HBS's that stops cards abilities? Bounce? I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Maybe next activation command, but it stops breakers. She's standing on Yupte on Reprise. It has the same sort of art style, and I think it is. Let's see. This is Fernick. I can't read the, sorry. The quality of this scan is like really bad. It's actually kind of hard to read the artist, but it does have that same Yupte art style. Oh, Trieste? Malia blanks resources. It's a different artist. Yeah, it kind of looks like it. Oh, the bot did show up. Oh, man. Like hot photo, my sister. That's not even a sentence. One of them got through. The first two got blocked. Okay, hold on. Thank you. What do you do of consoles, though, in Neutral Runner, assuming it's the same rules? Whatever you want. And multiple consoles. Like, you can literally play multiple consoles. When we played Big Max, we'd ran multiple consoles. And then, because you can overinstall consoles, I think... Wow. Okay, when it comes to consoles, what's good? T console? No, it'd be like F console, I guess. Z standard. No, okay, it's not F. What is it? I never know the syntax when I need to know it. Is it S console? Subtype? Subtype? Console's a subtype. Yeah, it's S. Okay, hold on. Thank you. Secret scoop, hot photo, my sister's the new runner ID. Oh man, D, how's it going? Okay. Now pause from some IRL ice res. I wish it was like anywhere near as effective. Liga Smieszkane was World Tree, if that's the one we're looking at. Oh yeah, Liga is definitely World Tree. No, but I was trying to find if the artist who did Uyute and the other one in that art style, because it's very similar to again, I don't know any of the names of cards. It takes me a minute to reprise. All right, what console can you play? Onacom, fantastic. It's card draw. You're probably going to be playing a lot of the best events. This is very playable. It's cheap enough. That's amazing. Brain chip, honestly, there's some metas where like having extra hand size could be good. Like not flashy, but kind of could be good. Carnivore, probably not. Daredevil, probably not. I'm kidding, y'all. It was endurance the whole time. You're playing endurance. You're straight up playing endurance because it's really good and there's ways to tutor it. It was endurance the whole time. Keiko, kind of difficult because you have to play the companions. Not that you can't, but it's a bit less consistent. Nothing else stands out. You could maybe play Mom, but I feel like economy is going to be tight as well. You can maybe play Obelisk. Economy is going to be tight. Paragon's totally fine. Penny Shavers totally fine. Patchwork probably don't have the card draw to support it. Pantograph probably not. Frenic Patkos for a price. Thank you. Swift is like possible, but I just don't think the deck is going to be based off of run events. It just probably can't. while it can play all the run events, it probably can't build like a reasonable economy engine around it the same way like, you know, you can by playing enough good run events. While there'll be enough good run events, there won't be enough like economy run events. So I don't think it'll be Swift. So I think very likely it's either Paragon or Penny Shaver. I think Paragon makes a lot of sense too because it gives you some consistency. But I think most likely is Anakama or Endurance. So that'll do it. Tag meets Io with Reprise to bounce the border control before the counter surveillance run. Tag meets Eye is actually like a really good candidate for Reprise because you have huge hand size and because there are a lot of turns where you access a lot of cards, whether it's either just like the DECKLISTS pass plus Jailbreak or obviously the huge combo. I do think that's a very playable card in that. Brain Chip like tool core damage meta? Yeah, maybe. Like you can play Heartbeat, but I don't think so. But like maybe Brain Chip just matters where having enough hand size is important. I don't know. Can't be worse than Lucky Charm. I want to draw a fan art of retired Leela and Sable getting a coffee. That'd be fun. We're seeing a lot of art again of Sable, which is really great. Yeah, I think that's what you play. I honestly think that'd be play. And when the question comes up between like Ampere and potential Ampere runner, I think this is worth saying a lot of times is that if the runner has the exact same condition attached to it, I imagine the runner is going to be a bit better and more consistent. Generally, corporations as a whole are more reliant on having a text box. Just about every corporation that does something uses the ability to do something interesting or powerful. Runners can have blank text boxes and still be fine. There's a lot of situations. I just feel like there's a lot of situations in which a runner can accidentally win a game. It's very hard for a corporation to accidentally win a game. Like generally you have to do something and have a plan. And that's a bit harder when you don't have a text box, which is generally your built-in plan. Either that or just built-in economy, which translates to a smoother plan in general. But there's a lot of runners you can play that just largely have a blank text box and you can be fine. Like Apex can win games. And Apex doesn't exactly have a blank text box, maybe arguably worse than a blank text box. But like you can just kind of win. So yeah, I'd actually expect higher things of the runner. Hades 2 is cool, but I'm more hyped for Armor Core. Hades 2, y'all. So I've heard. I know that the Game Awards are going on right now. I don't even know what I expected of Hades 2. I'm still playing Hades. I don't need a sequel, but not that I wouldn't be happy for it. Lucky Charm might have its day now that green can just resolve subs. Yeah, no, Lucky Charm seems reasonable as a way to deal with Zato, but I think there's other problems that like if you're playing Criminal, you have to deal with if you're getting Zatoed, which is like program destruction. I don't think we've seen the neutral runners MU, so that could be significant. To date, there has been no identity that has cared about MU, like has had a different MU number on it. In fact, wait, do old FFG identities even say MU on them? I don't think they do. No, they don't, right? Like if anything, they'd write that. Does Null Signal Games' things have MU on them? I guess what's a more modern one than As? Let's look at ESA. The professor totally can win. Oh yeah, so okay, NSG does do MU. I really doubt it. For what it's worth, like I don't think MU is a fun balancing mechanism. Maybe it is, but I don't know. I've said this before in stream. I like MU. Like I don't like MU cards because they're boring, but I wish more runners had more MU because that means they'd participate in a bigger part of the card pool. And so far, what we've seen in Null Signal Games, there are a lot of interesting cards that are MU hogs. And if we come down to a case where everyone just runs 3 of breakers and then 1 economy thing, like, you know, obviously Rozeki's banned, but like, you're not going to see World Trees. You're not going to see Orcas. You're not going to see whatever the turbine thing, K2CP is like. I just wish people had more MU. I don't love minus MU. Oh, we already saw 4 MU. Okay, so that doesn't even matter. Have we seen Link? I think Link is an interesting thing to talk about. Yeah, it's probably not fun. Extra MU is cool, but like I don't like Chaos Theory. I think it's kind of boring. For all that I've said, I think Chaos Theory is actually kind of boring. Yeah, two MU consoles I think is a great spot to be. I think we should have more MU. More Zero Link? Okay, it's Zero Link, we think. Okay. Fun trivia, how many Null Signal era runner cards have to interact with Link? Very few. Very, very few Null Signal cards care about Link. DreamNet cares about Link very suspiciously. And then the only Link card I think in Null Signal is the birds. Cyber Trooper Talut has Link on it for reasons that kind of make sense with the lore. And then I think one of the diamonds cares about Link, but I might be wrong. I think I might be thinking of an old diamond. I think it's always like 1 or 2 cards. There's actually a diamond that cares about Link? T400. This has Link on it, right? No, it doesn't. I think we're talking about the LLDS, which has Link, but that's not a Null Signal card. Link is either 0, 8, or 9. Okay, I doubt it's 9, but we'll keep that in mind. I really want to know what the story behind DreamNet cares about Link. It kind of makes sense. So DreamNet is like a cloud thing, and the subtype cloud showed up on old FFG cards, right? Like this sort of virtual I don't know. I don't know what the DreamNet is, but like it seems like a cloud thing. The idea is that if you're further away, you can get paid, right? And we saw a lot of cloud breakers back in the day. Things classically cloud breakers like Sherman or all that stuff. They had that subtype cloud. I think the earliest cloud breakers were actually a lot earlier than this. They just took up no MU if you had no link because they were in the cloud, which is a cool idea. But yeah, link is weird. It works with Apex and Sunny. Shishu, what does? Oh, DreamNet? Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. DreamNet has the other text on it. The link itself, like, I think that's a really good way to make it work with Sunny. And so, like, DreamNet was like the biggest mini faction card that Null Signal has ever printed. They basically printed mini faction support without putting it in a mini faction, which is honestly better for everyone. So sick. But yeah, this was largely typed around the fact that this works for one of the mini factions, this works for the other mini faction, and then Adam is just good. You can just play it in Adam. Okay, let's go through the news real quickly. Hold on, we didn't even go through it. There's so much to go through. Okay, we're gonna go through the news and like no reasonable in whatever order I queued up. Announcing the 2002 Q4 Game Night Kit. There is a Game Night Kit. It has a Formicary full art. That's right. Null Signal Games are Formicary non-apologists. They like the interaction. We're on board. You're going to see more Formicary combos. And a full art Chestushka is amazing. Good old Adam Estol. Scott Dominguez Formicary is fantastic too. And I've said this before in the stream. I think it's fantastic that Rain and Reverie cards can see high quality reprints like this. They can get in the kit. They run after you. I think that's actually new flavor text too. The earlier Cloud Breakers were the breaking and entering ice as a full thing. The Zoo Keymaster came first. Yeah, it was Zoo. There was another one before Zoo as well. It was like another ant card climbing up a stalk, if I'm not mistaken. There's also the Mess and Chesvos, which are, I think the Mess and Chesvo reprints are also coming with, what's it called? With the Parhelion. Creeper, thank you. Yeah, Creeper was another one. This is amazing. This is something I haven't done on my channel, and I promised that I want to do more, is that we want to run more just like game night kits and events, maybe asynchronous, maybe not asynchronous, probably asynchronous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and I'm going to order a couple of these, and then we'll be running events next year on this channel. So anybody who watches can participate. We'll do an asynchronous league of some sort. Green level clearance does these things, stuff like this happens. If that's something that's interesting to you, let me know. And we can make it happen. I have not mailed out prize support ever. I'm honestly very intimidated about that. Don't interact with the post very often, and I don't know how difficult it is. So I'm hoping to do something like that, but I'll definitely pick up a couple of these to be able to support online play, which I hope that's nice. The fact that Scott is also doing Project Red Sands is peak respectable. Yo, he's doing a lot of stuff. I got to talk to Scott. Really cool stuff. He's talking about like Keith, talking to Keith and Scott at Worlds. And they were talking about how there's like bigger planned things across the history or the future of Netrunner to work with certain artists to nail down certain like cosmetic aesthetic ideas to link together different runners' depictions of what net space looks like. Again, don't take this from me. I imagine Null Signal Games will either talk about this or they'll be subtle, but there's like really cool plans for the future to make like a very coherent depiction of net space based off of how different people either perceive it or interact with it. So I think you're going to see even more really cool established art styles, like how Scott Dominguez did all the neutral corp stuff from Null Signal Games or Neutral Runner stuff. I think that's great. Got to get Scott to guest on stream. Yeah, that'd be nice. I'm down. Also happy to sort of distribution logistics for any APEC players for you. Oh, cheers, Rory. Thank you. More like Steelskin, please. We had another one from the Steelskin artist, right? I do like the Steelskin art a lot. I think it's really interesting. It's really different. A short story harmonics. Unfortunately, there's a bunch of these articles that I haven't fully read yet, and I'll admit it straight up. There's just been too much stuff this week, and I haven't read through this, so I haven't read this. I assume it's interesting. I'll read it at some point. Netspace is expressed by Junji Ito. I want to get some secret layers. Junji Ito does harmonics. This is my super deep bore hell is made for me. Okay, so there's two harmonics. This seems to be the two HVIs in this set, if I'm not mistaken. We saw harmonics starting from Borealis, and there was two of them, and they were really bad. They saw very little play. In fact, Wave did almost win World, or not Wave, Echo. I can never remember the name between those two. The one that lets you find things. I think that's Wave. Almost won Worlds, and it's because it has a very powerful and interesting ability. And now we have two more. And the idea with these cards is the more of them, the more playable they are, because they all scale largely with the amount of other harmonics on the table. So we see now 4 harmonics. We have 2 code gates, 1 barrier, and 1 sentry. And so we have to reevaluate the whole package, because this is like a tribal package, which I've often said on stream that I'm not a big fan of tribal packages, because I feel like they just kind of make all these decks feel the same if they're all running, you know, all 12 of the same cards as a base starting point. Does that get homogenous? Kind of. But on the other side, I think it's really good for newer players who like can very easily make their, you know, harmonics tribal deck, and gives them a direction to build in. That's probably good. So mixed bag for me. Yo, Stat Tabby, how's it going? So this one is the first one they showed off, and it says when you res this ice, they lose a click during the run. I love that on res ability. There's a card specifically that we've seen twice over, I think now, from the set from Nemec that was called Francis 1.0. It had actually very similar text to this. It was a barrier that said when it was res, the runner loses a click, and then they either had to end the run or spend a click, and that was its subroutine. And it actually became like a really interesting combination card with other cards like border control, because you could time this at certain times to get it really awkward that they couldn't get through it. On top of that, this of course works with Thule. And Thule cares specifically about how many clicks you have when you access agendas. So that kind of works with this. But losing a click during a run, kind of regardless of board state, regardless of anything going on their side of the table, is actually kind of interesting. And then the runner loses a credit for each res piece of harmonic ice. So it's the opposite of wave. Wave is gain a credit for each res harmonic ice. That matters. That's generally a worse subroutine than the wave one. And then end the run unless the runner spends a click. That gives choices. Now, hopefully Thule can make those choices harder. They've already lost the click, but this is okay. I think this one's okay. I'm not too excited about this one. The fact is that co-gate breakers like Black Orchestra have deal this for 3 credits and res for 3 is kind of what you expect, but it's not an ice you can really rely on in the early game because it doesn't necessarily end the run. Now, I think a lot of Thule decks can run enough traps where like it's just kind of difficult, and accessing without clicks left is kind of what you want to do with Dr. Hendrick and all that sort of stuff. Like that's kind of good. Tempest, like there's a lot of ways to punish people for accessing with low clicks, but it's definitely not bad, but it's not a card I would put in my deck without any other of the harmonics. I think they all hold each other up. Just got my copy of SG, Assistant Gateway, hoping you get people in my LGS into the game. Yo, let us know how it goes. If you're in a local area too, there's like a lot of ways like green level clearance to like kind of make a rallying call. I love this in Op. In Op, this is interesting. And there's so many cards in this set that are like very powerful or very, not so much powerful, but things that you'd consider an Op. And the card pool is getting so big that's actually really hard to tell what Op is doing when you play against them. The idea that a border control could become a pulse, that you lose the click during the run, but then unfortunately, I think you have kind of a butt piece of ice after that. It's not very good. It's 2 influence, which is nice, but there's all these like Op pseudo tricks where like you can pull and do 2 net damage with a anemone for a card from hand, and there's other stuff. So yeah, it's kind of hard. Is there a pronunciation guide for this set? I'm hoping Mondegreen that there will be. There isn't one yet. It usually gets published after, but I think Thule specifically was also in the pronunciation guide for Midnight Sun because it showed up in flavor text. Is it a new set leak literally days after? No, this is Tab. This is Parhelion. It comes out tomorrow. And I think this is the interesting one, which is Bloop, formerly named Horn. This art's amazing. Oh, Decklists is a really funny flavor text, but this art is just fantastic. And I know so many people are excited to Bloop people. I think Bloop probably needs to get like a chat emote at some point. But additional cost to res this thing, de-res another piece of harmonic ice, 3 cost Sentry, 5 strength, 3 subroutines, all of which are kind of bangers, is really good. Like that's just really, 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 really good. And I know this article compares it to Archer, which is very similar, but has meaner subroutines to some extent. And it ends a run, more importantly, which is 4 subroutines. So it's pretty great. But the real cost here is you have to de-res a harmonic. Now, there's some really cheap harmonics. Wave is only 1 to res, and then all your other cards care about resing harmonics. So there's a chance that this res cost is actually a benefit, right? I needs it. It's really good. Bloop, BTC, how's it going? Big bloops in chat. Yeah, there's a big chance that this is just like pure upsides. The ability to de-res your own cards and then res other stuff, and then get more power counters on your echoes is kind of what you want to do anyways. And there's a big chance that this is what you need to make that deck coherent. On its own though, these subroutines, they are just good enough, right? Like you don't have to play in Thule. Like do 1 core damage is nice, it's fine, but 2 trash installed program subroutines, like that's meaningful against most board states. But funny enough, there's only one ice that specifically cares about having programs installed, which is Echo. So, you know, the situational and getting these in the right order is pretty good. The cool thing about Bloop too is that like you can play a 1-of Bloop in a lot of decks, like say an Op deck, Bloop deck, by just playing Wave. Right? Because Wave is when res, get a harmonic. So you have a cheap Wave already resed. You get the Bloop. You have to show it to your opponent so they know it's coming. But then you can get the Bloop resed, which is an overcosted card or undercosted card, an overperformant card for its res cost. Then you de-res the Wave. And then once they run the Wave again, you can continue to get stuff out of your deck. So I do think honestly playing like 1 or 2 waves, which are only 1 influence a piece, if I'm not mistaken, and then running at least 1 Bloop is something you could consider splashing. I don't know whether it's worth splashing, but it's like totally a package that you could insert into a deck that's having certain issues where like ice consistency or like having a big old Bloop in it could matter. Decklists. When I res this, I say bloop. When this is res against me, I will hiss. Yeah. The lore behind the bloop too. You can hear the bloop online. I'm pretty sure I've heard the bloop many times before. This is banger art. It's Yakuza. And I'm pretty sure all three of these, 3 of the 4 can be linked together to make a super art. Like I think this is the wave on here, this like blue part. And then I think the echo's on the other side. I don't know if this one attaches. Maybe it does. It looks like it does do attach. Yeah, it probably does attach. This seems to be the bottom of the blue part. So I think it makes like 4 quadrants of a thing. Yeah, this seems good. I'm definitely more interested to play Harmonix. We played Harmonix once this Midnight Sun season, and it was awful. And the big problem is the HB Ice Pool is just really, really good. And playing like an undercosted single end to run doesn't do it. And then the wave ability is not that good. So yeah. Yeah, cool. Good stuff. Talked about Ampere, fantastic. Circuit Breaker Invitational has been announced. So this whole year there's been Circuit Breakers. If you won one of those, you get an invite. I thought this was meant to be this year, but it's going to be happening next year, January 14th to 15th. 5 rounds of Swiss, and then there'll be a top 8 cut. This is going to be probably one of the bigger tournaments. It's obviously not Worlds, not Nationals, but it's going to have the winners. It's the first like big Netrunner Invitational, barring Intercontinentals. So you're going to see like the best players from every region duking it out. And it's going to be really exciting, specifically because it comes like basically a month after the new set. And this is going to be the first big event, I think, before. Actually, there might be a Fight Club event before this, but it's going to be one of the first major events that will be streamed, I'm assuming, that will show off the new cards. So there might be a lull. Like that's the awkward thing here. There might be a lot of people that build cool decks. They're competitive decks, but they're going to hide them for this like a little window because they're testing from this, because people definitely want to win this thing. Did you end up getting an invite? I did get one of the, actually like very early in the season. I might've got one of the first invites because we did one very, very soon on. I don't know if I'll participate. I might want to offer to stream. I haven't really played competitive Netrunner at a top level, and that kind of stresses me out. I might just enjoy streaming better. Prize support's really good. This is the Reaper function, and then you get some like, they've never done this before, but they're foil Spin Doctors and Dirty Laundries, which are obviously great cards, but then they have like the foil overlay of the Reaper on it, which is like definitely striking, kind of interesting too. I wonder how noisy that looks in person. Yeah, that man's great. That's a Doyle. That's a really good one. I reckon, yeah, that's the Circuit Breaker logo. That period is the jank gap. Yeah, that period's the jank gap, and I'm really excited about it. That's like the Ampere month before we have to like buckle down. I want to jump into standard solely for harmonic shenanigans. You can play in startup if you want, Stab. They're all there. The mat is supposedly numbered for placement. What? Wait, really? That's interesting. That's actually very interesting. So your mat is bespoke. I wonder how many people are in there. I wonder who gets mat 69. Sitting down across from someone with a numbered playmat is going to be intense. Yeah, but unless it's a low number, because then they look like a fool. Oh, you want an 8-player person's invitational, then you have to go run with the big folks, and then that was my situation. Anyways, maybe I'll just commentate. This is interesting. The beginning of the content resource hub. So basically there's going to be a website, a resource tool that you can get information about sets, knowing a bit about the content in there. If there's something that you find objectionable or something that like it doesn't mesh well with you, this is a place that you can go that's being run so that you can get some information without having to dive into something. This is really cool. I think part of this is already up. The content resource hub, it's adding this section, so you can go through this, and I actually checked this out. It's kind of interesting, and it talks about like overall cycle themes, specific card themes. So if there's something that like specifically doesn't mesh well with you, you can kind of like, it's hard to play around it, but you know what I mean. At least you have more information going into this. This is a lot of work to organize. I be very excited to hear how useful this is, and how people are actually interacting with this, because that's still a thing, right? Like if you have like an aversion to thalassophobia, which is like a pretty common recurring theme through the set, how do you deal with that? Like obviously it's good to know it's there, but I just don't know how you rectify that problem. So maybe this means you sit this one out for a bit. Asphyxia shout out? The card as in hypoxia, or is asphyxia a person? I don't know. Card gaslight warning, gaslighting checks out. Holy, whoa, that's wild. Yeah. Implied animal cruelty. Like, I'm not laughing at animal cruelty. I've been calling this card bird barbecue, but implied is such a funny term because you don't see it and it's heavily implied. Yeah. Anyways, this is wild. There's a lot of work that goes into this, and I'm very interested to know how people interact with this, because it's yeah, fire explosion. Yeah, it's cool. Oh, I didn't read for, what does it say for ontological dependence? Because that card is kind of real heavy. What does it say? Exploitation of grief. Ah, beans. Okay. All right. This is attached to a rotation article. Apologies, I haven't fully read this one yet, but this is from Cobra Bubbles, Rowan Gavin, who wrote this article together talking about rotation. And there is a rotation happening, if you're not aware, as soon as tomorrow. And that's startup. And I think that's going to be a very big kind of, I don't know, turning point for a lot of players. There are a lot of players who got into Netrunner. Let me just open this. We have an image. I don't know who to credit for this. I think I have it open here. Yeah, this I have it open. Shit. What's my accreditation on this one? I don't have accreditation on this one. I think this was Drop Bear, right? Corrupt Drop Bear. But the idea is that startup is a format that a lot of players have got into recently this year. Maybe it's the first format they've hit for Netrunner because they've just picked up the Null Signal Games cards over the last year or so. And you're probably used to playing startup, and startup consists of System Gateway, System Update, Ashes, and now the Borealis cycle. But the big thing is, as soon as tomorrow, when the full Borealis cycle is now released, Ashes is actually going to rotate, which means there are a lot of cards that either you haven't played enough if you're new to the game, or that you've kind of just have been so near and dear to you, or they're the cards that you've learned the game with, and they're all gone. They're rotated, which means officially sanctioned startup events, these cards are not legal. And I think for a lot of players who have a very small card pool, don't see the benefit of not being able to play with half the cards that they just recently purchased. And I think that's going to be a sticking point to a lot of players. If that's the case to you, obviously let us know in the comments, because I think that's something that Null Signal Games is hearing about, of course. I think other formats and like more casually, well, not like unofficially sanctioned events are going to happen where it's just like all the Null Signal Games cards, stuff like that. Like I think something's going to happen there because there is a kind of a hole here that people are going to run into. But it's really important to know Ashes is going to rotate. And I think that's a huge deal for startup as a whole, because Ashes has a lot of cards that I think probably are the game to some extent are better without. Ashes actually has a huge amount of banned cards in the standard format, cards that aren't healthy, they're hard to balance around, and they're banned. In fact, it's like a large majority of the rotate, not a large majority, but like there's a lot of cards getting rotated that are banned out. There's a big set of the Ashes set that is banned in standard format, and I think that's probably for the better. You're going to get a wildly different game. I think there's some fundamental cards that are rotating that are kind of staggering, like Daily Cast, Self-Modifying Code, cards that people don't know how to deal without. They just don't exist in the format anymore. Wait, does Self-Modifying Code rotate? No, it's in Update. No, it's not. It's in Ashes, isn't it? I think for me, I'm way more excited to play startup now because I think it might be a more interesting format, albeit a smaller card pool, but we'll see. SMC, yeah, it's Ashes, isn't it? Right? That's wild. That's super wild. Hold on. There's a lot of news. So this article goes through and talks through rotation, but like, I definitely want to sit down, and it's really hard to make predictions about what startup is going to play like, because it's such a big change. It's like, honestly, the biggest rotation Netrunner has ever seen, including standard rotations. And it's a bigger deal because it's a smaller card pool where it's just like entire like Anarch, like a whole Anarch econ package has just fallen apart. Anarch multi-access is just totally gone. Like I'm focusing on Anarch here, but basically it's totally different. It's very different when a card pool in standard goes from like 900 cards to 650 cards. Like you can still figure something out, let alone not often do staples rotate. Yeah. Let me catch up. I still can't believe we didn't get export and Excel this set. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get those. I don't think it's going to follow the same thing as a Jemison. This is such a weird rotation because so many startup decks can't just be brought to standard with all the bans. Yeah, that's an awkward thing too. It's like you also can't just take your startup deck and graduate it into standard, because then you realize there's so many cards you can't play. Kind of love Ontological Dependence as a horror themed card. It is very frightening. Like normally with rotating formats, you can just add some power to your Rotato deck and call it ready for the next larger format. Yeah. Startup will just be System Gateway, System Update, and then the whole Borealis cycle, which is Midnight Sun and Parhelion. Yeah, that's exactly it. I want to RT this. I think that means retweet. You can do it. Just obviously it's Drop Bear who posted it. 3 cheers for modern format. I think a lot of people are going to pursue that, and that's totally cool. Is this linked somewhere? Yeah, hold on. You can find it on Reddit as a channel. It's pretty high up. If not, I'll just put the link of the thing here. This is an Imager link. I did not make this. This is not mine. This is Drop Bear's. Companions are sad. Yeah, they're gone. They're gone. Cool. Now there is a card on the bottom of this thing, and that is this one. Bye bye ban boys. So many startup cards are banned in standard. It's like real wild out there. That's confusing. Maybe it's just like the core set and then the latest cycle. That's all startup is. Yeah, we talked a bit about this. I think this is like kind of one of the most exciting best cards. I don't know if y'all seen this one. I don't know. I'm just like so hot on this thing. I think this thing is amazing. It's a 2MU 6 cost card. That's incredibly expensive, so it has to be really, really good. Apparently the thing didn't post to Twitch. Maybe it won't get there. Internal error. Great. How do you even describe a deep net program? Yeah, this is the only subtype of that type, which is fantastic. This is the Yggdrasil, right? The world tree. And it says, the first time each turn you make a successful run, you may trash one of your installed cards to search your stack for one card of the same type. Hardware for hardware, resource for resource, program for program. Install the card you found, paying 3 credits less. Yeah, I think this is absolutely a massive card. It's just like so strong of a card. The ability to be able to search your deck for singletons potentially, and some very expensive singletons or cards you install for free, draw them and install them for no clicks while running at the same time before accessing is immensely powerful in the right deck. Now, I mentioned this before, of course, you have to trash your own cards. So ideally you have cards that have a shelf life that become empty, things like Imp without virus counters, the not Knobkiri, sorry, what's it called? The little bug, Pelangi, of getting rid of Iswak, sorry, the bear, the lovely bear, or getting rid of a mayfly, getting rid of an empty flame out. There's so many things to do. A dream net with, not dream net, daily cast with 2 credits on it, an Earthrise with 1 counter on it. Is that Woo's music? This is really good in Woo. This is very, very playable in Woo. Nanook, thank you. Nanook's great. Yeah, fewer constructs reach the deep net, but those old trees have stretched their roots farther than once thought possible. Yeah, I think this is just such a potentially flexible and powerful card. For 4 influence, you kind of really have to think it through. Again, you might be able to cheat this out with Spark of whatever it's called. At that point, you probably don't have a lot of programs. Whether you can build a whole rig that's all on like destructible things that kind of don't last long, like hold on, like Boomerang. I think that's a potential. The fact that you can overclock and trash a hardware to get down a one of boat from your deck for like, I think it's 2 credits max. That's kind of immense. The fact that you can play things like a one of Proco, one of all your tech cards and still get them consistently. The fact that you can even just thin your deck, like trash a 3-cost program to install the same 3-cost program. That's not amazing for 6 credits and an MU, but like these sort of things add up. You can get enough things in your deck where that really matters. Shapers get a treat by Liga. I love you, No Signal Games. Hey, man, how's it going? Yeah, it's really great. Can Ratatoskr be far behind? That's the squirrel, right? We are the world. 6 credits seems so expensive, but think about it, right? 6 credits is very expensive. But on average, how much do you pay for a self-modifying code to pull a program from your deck? Right? Like imagine that you installed a world tree and then you installed an SMC and then you didn't crack the SMC. You just ran archives. Hopefully you're doing a run that actually is good, but you ran archives and then you trashed the SMC to install a program reducing its cost by 3. SMC to install a 3-cost program costs you 5 credits. The 6 credits on this is going to be something that you get for the whole game. You get value from this from the whole damn game. SMCing for a single 3-cost card costs you 5. 6 isn't asking for a lot. Obviously it's permanent. DZMZs help a lot when you're installing cards, but like if you can fire this multiple times, 6 credits is a dang bargain. Obviously clumsy and big on MU, and you have to build a strange deck. I'm excited to play this in virus decks and anarchs where like you empty your viruses and instead of pawn shopping them, you just get new viruses from your deck. You trigger your Ivanovskaya. I'm worried the tempo hit is going to get it down early in game. Yeah, it's going to be a tempo hit, but you have 3 overclocks. Maybe you overclock this out with Cabinesawu on turn 1. Maybe you play Wasteland engines as well to trash your stuff, you know, or Reaver engines, like whatever you need to do. Like Reaver engine, Wasteland engine, you can do whatever you want. This is probably a bit too slow. But that seems good. It seems really, really potentially powerful. Now, the biggest thing that needs to support this again is the cards that need to support this. Like Cash was one of most Shaper players' favorite cards, such an unassuming card, but you install it, it gives you value, and then you pawn shopped it, or you send it to the Yggdrasil and it rebirths into something else. Like you need more cards like this. And maybe the card pool isn't exactly there. I'm wondering whether you can just get away with basic nonsense like daily casts becoming a Proco, or just like, you know, trashing whatever 0-cost install you have. Like I keep calling it Log Vault ironically, and now I don't know the actual name. Stoneship Chart Room. Like, I don't know. It seems good. Tech Writer? Is Tech Writer still legal? Probably. I believe you can use Fueno. Yeah, you can use Fueno. It's during a run, so Fueno credits count. Let alone you can use just like, what's it called? Chesva credits. Like, there's so many ways to make it work. Telework trio, new Telework. Yeah, Telework. There's another card, Doctor, I don't know the name yet. I think I have it here, which is just basically a couple, what's it called, on a stick, diesels on a stick. And it's not great to diesel once and trash this thing, but you can do it. Like you can get Nuka down, you can draw 3, and then you can get a daily cast from your deck for free. Is that better than clicking to draw 3 cards? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Like, oh, it's so good. The problem too is that there's a lot of cards from the set like Nuka or like the Poison Vial that trash themselves when they're empty. You're basically looking for cards that when they're empty, they don't trash themselves. And I think that's quite powerful. Mayfly, yeah. Mayfly, not only is Mayfly good, but I think a big part here is Flameout, because empty Flameouts are useless. So you can obviously get rid of the Mayfly before a successful run is made, and then it's discarded, let alone with Cabernet Sauvignon, anything. And then the Flameouts, not that you can use the Flameout credits, then you can just sell the Flameouts to the tree and get another hardware. Like, I don't know, a boat for, again, like 1 credit with an overclock. This is why there's no such thing as doing it ironically. Yeah, no. Yeah, it catches up with you, huh? Bad habits or whatever. I don't know, man. This thing seems great. Kat, how's it going? I'm a big World Tree fan. Are you a World Tree fan? How you doing? Yeah, I don't know. I think there's some wild stuff here. And I think there's going to be like really strange packages. I think this is like a linchpin piece to certain decks that can just blow them wide open. Like maybe this is what virus decks need. Maybe you can, again, build like a deck that runs no programs besides this, and then is using all its value to get other cards out of the deck. But the idea also too is like you can get on command multi-access, like play some garbage hardware that you installed for free in AS or whatever, and then you can trash it at instant speed to make it into I don't know, Conduit for is a program for central access, but it can just become a wake implant from your deck. One of, and like that you can tutor in Shaper, right? Like cool. Like there's so much cool stuff you can do in this thing. It's just so wild. Yeah, it's just so cool. I'm excited to watch Shaper install an 8-cost console, then a 6-cost tutor. I think you do the other way, Kat. You install the 6-cost console, 6-cost program, and then you tutor out the 8-cost boat for hopefully about 1 or 2 credits when you overclock it, right? I don't know. Is it super, super, super competitive? I'm not sure, but the numbers on it are absolutely nonsense. The idea behind it is absolutely nonsense. The closest card we've seen to this is Rosetta, and Rosetta is obviously not 1R. Rosetta 2.0. It wasn't very good, saw almost no play. The thing is, like, this makes no sense specifically in criminal. The non-virus clause also sucks. If this didn't say that, this would be good. But this is also a click, not click compression during run. Make a run, access the card, install a card from your deck reduced by 3 is just kind of really good. Yeah, it's really good. Not only overclock credits, you also have concerto credits. Like, I don't know. You got Chesva credits. Like, there's so many ways to make this work. But I think you have to probably play Shaper. You're going to need extra MU, which is why I do like playing Knob Curie and playing maybe viruses and using that as your engine. It's pseudo card draw. It's installed for free. It's mill with, I don't know. I think it's so good. I think it's so cool. And it's maybe it's too slow. I think the biggest problem here is like, it's really hard to look at the set, not having played any of it and trying to figure out how corporations are going to attack you. Whether it's just speed, whether it's damage, whether it's hand size, like maybe none of this lines up with any of that. But I think inherently the fact that this can tutor your one of Proco, your one of Caldera, your one of Citadel Sanctuary, even like a no free lunch is super important in certain board states, or your one of Hunting Grounds into on and counter ice so that you don't get Zatoed. Like all that stuff seems so valuable. Yeah, you can get the tree out with Spark. It's just hard, Ken. How's it going, by the way? Because if you hit something else, you don't get the tree. But now you might have to play Shaper, which you definitely don't do. I've been wearing my Shaper toque now that's winter, and I'm slowly, it's bleeding into my head, and I see green. Yeah, it's happening. Yeah, or, I don't know. That's just a nonsense ability. It's just a nonsense ability. How easy is it to make successful runs? Again, if you have the boat, you're kind of making runs for free, and you're making 1 run a turn anyways that you want to do for boat. I don't know. Again, 8 cost, 6 cost. Do you play a 10 cost orc on top of that? Please don't make me do that. But yeah, I don't know. I think this thing's amazing. All right. Something trees of greens, something. Okay. Other things. This is a huge win for most players. Update to printed play files. Classically, this is really important to know. Classically, the printed play files, if you wanted to pay what you want to print them from Null Signal Games, were very low quality. They were quality comparable to this, which is really blurry and doesn't look good. And Kevin wrote this article today saying like, we've rethought it, and now the print and play quality files are actually of 300 DPI, which is like totally playable, totally printable DPI. So the print and play files, again, pay what you want. And I recommend, if you can have the credits to donate to support Null Signal Games, who puts a lot of money and effort and work into this, you can. But the print and play files are just perfect DPI. That's also really good for content creation, like just to be able to have access to higher quality assets. And for what it's worth, Null Signal Games, if I ask them like, hey, do you have higher quality scans of this? They're generally pretty good about it. Not that I'm obviously distributing my own cards, but that's the fear. As a Shaper main, I feel attacked. No, you're doing good out there. Oh no, Shaper players, that you guys win worlds and all that. Yeah. Anyways, that's great. That's just a huge win. That's really noble of them. And yeah, now everyone can participate equally, which is fantastic. You don't have to have low quality stuff. This is also big towards a new distribution model, Parhelion direct sales. Hi, are you tuning in? Are you in America? Because let me tell you, it's now so much easier to go buy Netrunner cards. Basically, Null Signal Games has a storefront now. Too long didn't read. Null Signal Games has created a new storefront to sell Parhelion directly to US players. It's $45. It comes in a custom tuck box. And let me tell you, just jealous about that sentence. And shipping will be free. What? Yeah, rip mild side and all that is as said in chat, which is amazing. But what? So currently as a Canadian, and classically, if you've been buying Null Signal Game stuff, hopefully you've been buying it with other people, because specifically if you're buying from Make Playing cards, to some extent for drive-through cards, it gets considerably cheaper when you start buying with other people in bulk. So instead of printing out one thing, they print out more things, and obviously economy of scale. So we do in Montreal, we do all our buys together. Somebody fronts it very generously, and then we pay them back while the things get shipped in and they get dinged by the border hilariously hard. From Canada too, it also makes sense to buy from one website more than the one that Null Signal Games wants you to order from. And Null Signal Games basically said, hey, we're just going to ship it directly to you. Currently, it's only for the US, which eventually they said Canada is maybe the next step. I think it's the next logical step. Eventually shipping to the rest of the world. Obviously, that gets a bit more difficult, but it's such a big first step for so many people. It's like so hard as a player who people say, like, how do I get into Netrunner? And be like, okay, first you want to go to this website, and then you want to go to Make Playing cards, and then you're going to have to order this. Like, and then it's like going to be $60 because you're buying singletons. And now to be like, go to a website, yeah, you can buy it right there. Sick. Really, really cool. Free shipping. I don't know how common that is in America, but in Canada, that's not really it. Volume go out? Just me? Let me check. No, I'm good, I think. Thanos, hopefully. I don't know. Hey, Cactus, how's it going? NSG gets more of the cut too. Yeah, that's probably a big deal. Not only do they get more of the cut, unfortunately, this is going to be more time for them. They have to do all the shipping themselves. Maybe they're working with somebody who can do logistics. Yeah, hopefully they get more of the cut. That's the problem too. They want us to use drive-through cards, which doesn't make sense for Canadian. So we use Make Playing cards, which they get a worse cut from. So yeah. Low-key's the thing I'm most excited for here is the actual box. Honestly, no joke. Yeah, I kind of want a box. I kind of want that tuck box. I wonder if I could get that tuck box. Please give me the tuck box. Really cool. Really, 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 really cool. This is amazing. A lot of work goes into this. You're fine now. Okay, fantastic. I really hope the logistics work out, because that's kind of a super thorny. Yeah, the logistics is like really, like, I just talked about running a tournament and just sending like some card prize support to folks. And even that is intimidating, let alone doing this on a global scale. So I don't know who's getting this done. Yeah, that's a huge win. That's definitely a huge win. There's an FAQ here. And again, America. And as of Monday, this should be an option. Whether it's going to be a bumpier launch than just going to like drive through or Make Playing cards, maybe not. I don't know. Ordering things around holidays gets a bit stressful, I reckon. But yeah, give them a shot, because they probably make more money from it. So, and let alone that tuck box is worth the money. Is 45 USD what you'd expect to pay for Parhelion if you buy solo or you group buy? I don't know what this is in Canadian. I wonder if the Vancouver folks are going to move this in the future, since we have easy access across the border shipping. Yeah, I could just like waltz down to Vermont, huh? Go check out the land of freedom. Hey, Diceborn, there's a group buy for Alberta and Vancouver, which has a large amount. Yeah, we already have our Montreal Google Drive set up. Significantly cheaper. What did you expect to pay for Parhelion in American dollars? Wonder how fast they'll sell through their stock if they underbuy or overbuy. Yeah, I don't know also how they do it. Like, they're not printing on site, so I imagine they're ordering from drive-through and then from there. So yeah, I don't know. DTC was like 45 and shipping. Okay. Data packs were 15. This is a half cycle, which is 3. Oh, compared to like buying a full cycle, like FFG style, yeah, it's going to be way cheaper. 45 USD is like 60 CAD. 60 CAD is what I expect to pay after border and shipping, after dividing it with like a lot of people. It's equivalent to 3 ANR data packs. Yeah. Well, less than. But I just meant to like buying Parhelion the old days. $60 dues. Australian dollar dues are not worth a lot. That's maybe akin. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's great. That's just like a huge win. Like the biggest thing to be like, how do I get into Netrunner? Here's a website. There's a store. Go. And then you can buy everything in one thing. Our Parhelion order is going to stick with NPC for sure, but when Bell Tower starts coming out, yeah, if Solomir for us too, I'm hopeful by Bell Tower, this will be extended to more of the world, if not only selfishly Canada. But yeah, totally. Did you hear that they announced what the next cycle was going to be about on the ShadowNet? Did you all hear this? Like, for real, did you all hear that basically Morgan said where the next cycle is going to happen? That was news to me. I was like, the ShadowNet, I'm like, no one said this. Yes, Brazil. They said, Morgan's saying that the new cycle is going to be about Brazil and focus on politics. And then people heard, oh, politics, great. It's going to be Mumbat all over again. We're going to trash all these assets. But yeah, the new cycle is going to take place in Brazil. Obviously, Netrunner Brazil. No idea what that is, but that's pretty cool. I wonder how they're going to figure out how to kill Canadians there. Just ship them in, I guess. There better be football themed cards. Yeah, I imagine there will be. Yeah, political assets. Oh, man. Oh, not again. Yeah, that's really exciting. That's obviously like a place that hasn't been well explored in the card games that I've played. Okay. Oh my God, it's 11:30? What? Other news? Daily cast? I think that might be all our news. That's all our news. That's it. Sets out in like 12 hours. That's all I got. Politics in my apolitical game of people against corporations for entirely non-political reasons. Keep politics out of my game. I just want to take down the company making the Jurassic Park dinosaurs. Sundog 2.0. He's coming. We rebuilt him from the ash. That's what they were digging for in the Arctic. There's Sundog 2.0 under there, and he's real powerful. You cannot, I said, keep political assets out of my games. Fantastic. All right, look, it's 11:34. Parhelion drops potentially in, I don't know, figuratively in 30 minutes. Probably not. Nobody cares about the East Coast. That's probably going to be it for the stream. But let me tell you, I'm hoping to stream tomorrow for like a real long time, like maybe 6 to 8 hours, hopefully starting in the afternoon. It all depends in when all this stuff hits JNet. If there's a JNet launch and we get it early, I'll be up early enough and then we'll be streaming for the day. I can't tell you when and if that's going to be, but I have tomorrow off. So we're just going to do that. Now, if you haven't hit a follow to the channel or notification, do that on YouTube or Twitch if you'd like to, and you'll get notified when we go live, or you can just check in at some point in the day. That also works too, but that's largely it. Thanks for the stream. Sorry for the chaos posting. No. Chaos posting is great. Brazil has the third largest Japanese population after Japan and the US. Yeah, I've heard about that before. Netrunner ID revealed yet? Not that I've known. And there's like, so if you see Chaos of 99's list, there's a fair few cards that I think we're going to get spoiled tomorrow. Okay, let's just go over it. There's a Wayland Ice, always exciting. The ice in the set's been really weird. There's an NBN Operation. Those are really fun. There is the Neutral Runner. And a Criminal Resource, it seems to be. Maybe it's a criminal program. It could be either, I guess. It's somewhere in there. And some Anarch stuff as well. Hey, friends. Hey, Alec. Hopefully I can tune in. Me and my mom are going to watch a movie and work Saturday. Hey, enjoy that regardless. That sounds fun too. What if JNet launches in a couple of hours? Then I'll just show up around 10. I'll just be there when I'll be there, I guess. Thanks for the stream. Fingers crossed for instant JNet release. Yeah, it might take a bit. Obviously, it's worth noting Null Signal Games and JNet are two separate entities, so not always on the same page. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I think that's it. I think that's really it for the stream. Thanks for hanging out. Worth noting also, next week there will be a stream on Thursday, but then the week after that it's going to be the holidays and there won't be a stream. There'll be a stream the week following that, which I believe will be the last stream of the year on the 29th. So hopefully you're in for that. We'll try and pre-record some video stuff. Again, Jeff and I are going to work on a tier list video, very early impression. So it's going to be absolute nonsense. Time to learn a bunch of new cards. I have learned so few of the card names, and then they added a bunch of letters and numbers to them. So it's even harder, let me tell you. But yeah, hopefully we're going to figure out what all those cards are tomorrow, and then we'll be streaming for the bit. I'm excited to see the tier list come back to haunt you. It so far hasn't, honestly. Our tier list was like, okay, like genuinely no sarcasm. Our tier list was like pretty reasonable. I think we undersold the vote, which that's the only thing I could be slightly embarrassed about. But everything else there, like I feel bad about nothing. Literally nothing I feel bad about. And I do think that it's an archetype staple. Autonomous. That's it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll be back in a bit. Hopefully you're excited about this. There's a whole bunch of cards here that we haven't seen on stream too, like Time Bomb, and we didn't talk about Hush. And there's a lot of stuff from the community. So you want to check these out, or again, go check them out. They're like cool community places that you can go listen to podcasts and see content. So do check that stuff out. Well, that's largely it. I'm going to call it a night. It's 11:30. Thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you have a good Parhelion launch. Maybe enjoy the weekend. Again, card ordering should be up on Monday. Internet cards are up on Friday. Parhelion generally seems meaner. Yeah, corp stuff seems quite mean. It does seem kind of mean. Thanks for the stream, of course. Thanks for joining in. Hopefully you're having a good time. And we'll see you maybe tomorrow. I'm hoping tomorrow. If it doesn't come out tomorrow, we probably won't stream tomorrow. So it's all contingent on JNet. Maybe if I'm feeling really antsy and it's not on JNet, maybe we'll come on and we'll just talk about every single card. There's a daily cast also tomorrow. The final daily cast around 5:30 or 5, where usually is 5:30 Eastern. So check that out as well. Take care, y'all. Ciao.